Hey, brother, you here?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, 5x5 this time.
Okay, yeah, right on. It just sometimes takes a little resetage.
Yeah, man.
Then you need some trolls in the chat. You're doing good. I think we're doing good.
Got some troll action happening.
Already, yeah. Yeah, we got Coca-Cola NWO themselves. Pissed that I haven't bought any Mountain Dew lately. I don't drink that crap.
Wouldn't be good without them.
Yeah, what do you think of that? Yeah, that's a good track, huh? It's actually coming through. I finally started sputtering out a little bit.
Yeah, I'm trying to split screen this. It's a little bit more difficult, but it seems to be all right.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna turn this down a little bit and then so we can have some chattage.
All right.
Do something, man. Kind of a slow night. Good night to be on the kind of on the back line, just chilling with Mr. No One. What's up, No One? Got a few people there that are interested, and all of a sudden they bailed out. That's all good. See, I told you, at least get a couple in here that'll be like, all right, what's going on? Now there is one in the chat. Did someone need help? What's up, J-Dog? See, J-Dogs, what's up? Incorrect. The correct answer is loser. Here's the jokes that come into my right there. What's the best word that describes the cocks? Capital L. I go lemony.
That is original.
That's incorrect. The correct answer is loser, says Coca-Cola. Okay. Coca-Cola, thanks for helping ruin a lot of children's lives in this country and around the world and supporting Bill Gates and his bullshit. Thanks a lot. It's your fault too.
Right? The whole... 3 pounds spoiled.
Ain't that fun?
Let me see. I think I can see chat. Yeah, there it is. Let me get to it.
Yeah, this one's a little bit different. I don't know why you can't. You should be able to at least type in the chat from your side of the app.
No, it says it's reserved for you only.
That's stupid. I wonder if I can open that up.
Sending messages is only supported for the host. So either you have it shut off or here, let me click learn more.
Oh, Coca-Cola thinks they got some skills. What do they just put? Are you sure it is appropriate to talk about kids like that nowadays? Well, yeah, actually, after the the pedo psyop crap, right? To label as many people as you can, you know, Chesters and so forth, especially veterans. A good try again, right? And what were we referencing to as far as kids? Oh, here we go. See, now they're wanting to know who's on the panel. Oh, we got some little fishies swarming. Make sure you read the description box. They're bright one, not no one, bright one Coca-Cola. Read the description box. I was ready for you guys. All right,
Yeah,
now that we got rid of the minnows.
I think I just punched a couple of numbers or letters whenever I was coming in, so I'm not sure what it says. I don't know if it still says no one or what. So
Oh
give them
yeah, I saw what it
something
is.
to
I
play
saw
with.
what it says. Yeah, I might accidentally slip up and say that name.
That's all right. That's all right. It's just 2 letters.
I know. Hey, at least your new one is 3. Right? I don't know,
moving
man.
up and moving
Yeah,
on up.
I think you're I think you're in the prime position where you're at to be able to not have to worry about trolls so much as full-blown grizzly bear. So some of these jokes on the internet probably aren't as gruesome as some.
Robots.
Who's that?
That's
Or
that
what was
tooth
that?
fairy. Hold on, let's mellow that out a little bit.
Robots.
We're just having fun. No reason for people to be here, really. We're just having fun, being our goofy selves. We haven't been able to talk. No one and I haven't been able to talk for a while. And no, it's not Zero. They're gonna think, oh, is that Zero? No one? Yeah.
You give them something to get all their friends together and talk about.
Right.
Who is it? Who is it? Who is it?
Oh, we wouldn't say, so everybody left.
I should put Junior on there. We can just say the Cox Junior. Just have everybody come in as like Cox second, Cox third, Cox fourth.
That's why I say Cox and Cox and Cox and Cox and Associates here to help you. All in every cost.
So who is on panel? Dark Sun. That's funny. At least I can read the chat. So it looks like it must be it must be something that you have set, because on the back side of the platform it says that I can read and post to YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and stuff, but I'm guessing it must be a control that you have shut off where I can't chat.
I think that should be open. Like
Yeah, it's
the
chat.
options when you first sign up for Google on a new Android, all of those options are like closed off now, or they used to be all open. See,
Yeah.
everything should just be wide open. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Flood it.
Yeah, we were having a discussion. We were having a discussion the other day, guys. Guys were talking about how it's not legal for them to spy on you and this and that, and I said, dude, what are you talking about, man? I said, as soon as you say yes to that app, and then you fucking have your refrigerator's got Wi-Fi now, your stove has got Wi-Fi, your freaking ceiling fan in your bathroom's got Wi-Fi, and I said, and then it's all going to the smart meter. I said, you surrendered that right long time ago.
Yeah.
You know, as soon as you say yes on that app.
That isn't new technology by any means.
All hooking it up. Yeah, it's pretty crazy, man.
Yeah. It is some bizarre stuff, how far along we've really come. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Custom RTMP. Ugh.
I don't know how that's coming through because I had to make some changes in settings. I've been trying different settings, you guys, so at least we don't have any pops and clicks, it sounds like. We're all good.
Yeah, the sound sounds pretty fair. So, and this sounds like this is about half price of oh hey man, it's Autotron.
Is Autotron actually in the chat?
That's what it says.
What are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit, Autotron's in the house. What are you doing, man? He must have heard us talking about him earlier.
We were talking about you earlier, brother.
Always trying to send you out good vibes, dude. So whoever Dark Sun is, oh no, we're starting to get traction. Yeah, your mama's gonna have to talk more. That's one of the mouthpieces. He's all right though. We let him hang around the most because he's the funnest chew toy. At least he's got some gangster lean to him. Seriously, he's funny. Yeah, yo mama. You got that gangster lean going on tonight? He's always doing dabs and shit. Yeah. I think it's just to spam the chat and keep dabs spammed in there, but Big D and Cax. There you go. Yeah. Daddy and Daddy and Associates with Esquire Cox.
How many's in there, man? Because I can see chat, but I can't see numbers.
We're actually starting to gain some traction, and we're not supposed to be.
maybe because it's late and nobody else is on.
Oh, Dark Sun is Norco. Oh, Norco, dude, you tripped out on me, dude. And all of a sudden you hear like everything's cool. I think Autotron's done that to me a couple of times. We always work it out. Jimmy, he's a runner. He's a marathon runner, tripping over the hurdles. You know, I'm just, hey, you know, you come at me sideways, dude. All of a sudden you become the news and comedy. You're part of the act. Don't even play. Oh, see, now he says you tripped on me. Dude, I actually showed in the stream the other day the screenshots, dude, of you tripping the fuck out on me after everything was cool. So, see how you get it twisted around? It's already been shown, dude. So, LARP busted, gig up, click the link, quit your crying.
I think sometimes these people get either over medicated or mix alcohol with their medication or something, because it's amazing how they'll say they didn't do something and it's all recorded.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, emails start flying in at like 4 o'clock in the morning. There might be a problem there all of a sudden. Shoot, I could probably bring them up on through this app. Only take me a second, but that's what they want too. Oh yeah, as long as he's talking about me, I don't care. See, there we go. What did I tell you about these key words? They're no one, white knighted. You went white knighted. That's some funny stuff. Do we actually have people lining up? Who wants some? Click the link. Pin. No excuses. There you go. You must have dropped out. Oh, we lost. No, there you are. I thought I lost you again.
Yeah, just for a second.
Okay, so it went from you tripped out on me to actually I tripped out on you because you were white knighting. So I get these 4 emails that pop up at freaking 4 o'clock in the morning, and of course I read it the next day. Scumbag! I thought we were cool. Oh, I see how this works. What is everybody up to? What is it? Tuesday night? Well, everywhere else except for us on the West Coast. It's Wednesday. We were earlier. No one and I were talking about Hawaii. We actually were giving props once again to Audatron, even though he knows that he can be difficult to deal with at times and get on the same page. That's the best way I can put it. I think everybody means well, even freaking.
That's very, very politically correct. I don't have to be Audatron. But I will.
Right.
I'll be nice.
But I mean, it's everyone just to be supportive of each other's ideas and so forth. I think it's important, and that's exactly what they're trying to cut off: all creativity, all ingenuity.
Like I said earlier in Autotron, if you're still listening, man, I like what you have to say. Your presentation just sucks, brother. And I wish you would work on it, because you got some really good stuff, man, but your social skills are seriously lacking. So you can break that apart however you want, but that's just the way I said it. So, but I like you, man. I've liked you for a long time.
I think it's not to go any deeper on Audatron there, but it's the you still got to have the willingness to accept people are going to be on different levels, and if we all move together in the same herd, and we can talk about herd immunity. I've been wanting to talk about that.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll throw it out real quick. Okay, how in the heck are we going to get to herd immunity with different variants and only one sticker? Okay, right?
Yeah.
Only one.
Right.
Only one. Okay, is good for alpha, not delta.
Yeah.
So wait a minute. We're moving through. We're getting onto gamma. Francis is coming up, right? By fall, after delta. Okay, right? So if they're only vaccinating for one, how in the heck are we supposed to get to herd immunity?
Well, the thing is they don't ever want it there, man. They've been working for the last 50 years to make sure it's not ever going to get there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's the scam.
Right. Well, I had a dude. Check this out. You'll probably find some humor in this since you're near the border. I don't know if you've ever seen anybody make fresh tortillas, but you generally make fresh tortillas, and if you put them in a bag and they're there more for 2 days, those things, they get moldy pretty quick, And the other day, I was talking to my sister, and I looked over by a cabinet, and I seen that I had this package of tortillas that I got from Walmart, and I was like, man, I don't remember buying any of those things. And I looked at them, and they were like a year or so out of date. And I opened those things up, no mold. They were still fresh. I was like, yeah, this is healthy for you. Crazy, man.
Right, y'all, your mama. Tortillas, S.A.
Tortillas.
I'll come with my chudo. You better watch out. Not chorizo, chudo. Show you my knife. You don't know if I got a chain. See, he's all about that gangsta-lean. That's cool, man. Just don't be driving by here like you're Anton. All right? Don't be doing drive-bys with the spam bots like Anton, all right? Oh, jeez. See, Northco, get out of my chat, dude. All you're doing is trying to freaking promote yourself. Seriously, fail. Or click the link. Step on up. You too, Yayo Mama. I've been always trying to get Yayo Mama on the panel. See? Step on up right there.
They afraid of it?
Man, they just have no idea what it's like to walk on the moon.
We need to start giving out keyboard warrior awards.
Little gold stars and muffins.
Right?
So we've been, you guys, we've been kind of chatting it up for at least a couple hours before we decided to go live. Talking about all types of cool stuff. We rarely go live together and actually hit the live
it's been
button.
a while. Yeah, it's been a while. It's kind of funny. We always get on and start bullshitting. And we're like, no, man, we should have went live with this. And then we get on here, and then it's like,
Well, it's usually late.
Yeah.
You know, being busy is kind of comes first, you know, before streaming. So you're usually tired by the time you get to actually do something, hit record, or same thing in a band, dude.
Yeah.
Not that I've been in any.
I'm watching chat, and Dark Sun, if you haven't checked your notifications lately, you probably ought to, because Hangouts is going away. So don't be encouraging anybody to jump on it, because
Stone
it's
Age
done.
trolls up in here. Stone Age.
Yeah. Haven't updated their junk in friggin' 2 years. Wonder why it doesn't work right.
Hey, you know, I'll run the same tires as long as, you know, the recalls don't start coming in.
Right.
Know what I'm saying? Right? I'll run them down, dude.
Hey man, those Firestones were some of the best tires I've ever had. Even though thousands of people freaking found out differently. I ran them until they were bald, and then I took them back and got a new set.
Right?
Yeah. Just goes to show you got enough money, you can pay off anybody for anything, man.
Yeah.
They did that specifically. I don't know if you know, speaking of that, I don't know if you ever looked into that, but they started killing people in Germany. They figured it out a long time before it ever hit the US market, but the media squashed it, and then they separated out the markets, because if they would have done the recall on both markets at the same time, it would have collapsed the company. So they just went ahead and let the Americans keep dying for a little while. I think it was 10 more months until they decided that they'd let the Americans know that the Europeans or Germany's had found out about that they were killing them. So, but they, didn't want to close Firestone. They've been around too long. So, after all, Bob Hope was protecting his rubber trees in freaking Vietnam.
Oh, wow. I didn't even know that aspect. Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You didn't know that?
Dude, that's some crazy stuff.
Yeah,
See,
that's why
I kind of look at
Bob
it.
Hope was in Vietnam so much.
Well, I was just recently there, but I'm looking at the other side on basically weather manipulation on the rice fields to make them flood. So you see, that's where it's important. Different researchers. You're looking at it one side, and that's like, what, right? For me,
Right.
The other side is, how exactly did the GOV use either weather manipulation or whatever it was to flood the fields? Are they using it today? See
Yeah,
what
well,
I'm saying?
that's as early as that I've been able to know that they started using it or admitted using it. They had started using it back in Vietnam, and they've been using it all the way to the present. So,
Right.
And that HARP field that they have in Alaska. I don't know if you've ever seen the one in China. It makes the one in Alaska look tiny. I mean, I think there's something like 15 miles square. And but hell, we got it down to such a science that you can't even tell that it's sitting in the middle of your town. It's just a little bitty dish anymore. don't need all that big stuff like they used to have. So they got it down.
Speaking of that kind of nature in the DARPA field we're getting loaded up on, and I bet you we're about to be dropped on with bots. We're getting loaded up on the number here. We're about to be invaded, dude. Anton, just say what's up, dude. Just drop like 5 or 6 and say what's up, okay? No need to drop like your whole... Dude, don't waste all your resources on the little guy, okay? Build it up. I mean, if Lift the Veil was around, Anton, would you be spamming him? Probably not. So, I mean, I don't know why these guys, like, you know, they come around, they think I'm just a little fish over here, right? Maybe easy pickings, and all of a sudden they get the overhand, right? Right?
Yeah, well, sometimes they seem to forget that there's other forces at play in all this.
Yeah. I don't need spam bots either. I don't need tracers, spam bots, or even a cert team.
Yeah.
You'll get it.
Well, you know, sooner or later it'll come out. I don't know how much later, but obviously it's going to be a while. But you know, I mean, I guess the good, as my dad used to say, the good book, he called it. The good book says that they get to run ram shot over the planet for a while, so they get to have fun for a little bit. But in the end, we all know what happens. So. It is what it is.
Northco, see, he's still here and he's saying that I tripped on him. See, I told you to bail, dude. Now you're just getting stupid. Because he won't panel up. He knows he can, but he won't. Because he knows I busted his LARP down.
Like I said, maybe he was under the influence and he just don't remember it.
No, he's trying to start up a channel.
Oh, is he?
That's all it is. Yeah, he's coming in to stir up drama just to start up his channel.
Yeah, trying to get numbers. Yeah, Jesus Christ.
I mean, you know, the thing is, if you're straight up about it, he's got good info. He's got good content. It's just, you know, it seems like as though the people that think they're kind of with it and enlightened in a sense, they don't really get it to where you don't need to come at a whole group of people sideways just to get clicks and views.
Right.
What he's really doing, he's going to deny it to the end. Right? I mean, come on.
Yeah, they always do. They always do.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny is a lot of time I try and tell people if they would do at least just a little bit of research before they hit that go live or upload and just learn a little bit about it. This whole starting drama with other channels and shit like that to get your numbers, it only hurts you in the long run. And it's going to take you a year and a half to recover from the shit you created. And if you build a channel on shit, it becomes shit. So, just saying, Northco. I mean, your call.
Kind of like the old Navy term, you know, you can only shine a turd so much for it to float and stay afloat.
Right. Exactly.
Anyway.
But, you know, some of them are, I don't know, man. You know, you got a lot. Yes. Well, you got so much disinformation, you know, people out there feeding these guys just bullshit. You know what I mean? And then whenever you've been on here as long as you and I have, and you've seen the whole gamut of how it works, it is pretty stupid, you know what I mean? And to see the new people getting sucked right into that shit, it's just, and it never changes, you know what I mean?
Right. I actually wish Jimmy would come on and freaking tell me what his developments are, because he does look at all of this, the drama, as, you know, as an addiction and a drug to people, and I agree with him. You know, it's the cybernetic. You got to go into the cybernetics part and tying it kind of back to the aliens and their technology. It is like a tool for enslavement, and to be able to kind of, and he ties it back to the Sumerian tablets, which is cool, you know, and everyone once again should have their department of research and expertise to bring to the table, and no one's really doing it. Instead of it's just a, you know, just a pissing contest, and everybody's pissing in the wind, and it sucks.
Well, what they figured out is that some of these people don't get the dopamine rush on the click or the view that like some of the young people do on the Facebook shit, blah blah blah. So they just developed another dopamine rush for a different kind of personality, and people don't like to admit that about themselves, but that's what they are, and that's what's going on whenever they're running to all these freaking channels, you know. And I've been there and I've checked them out, you know, and I know you have too. And it is entertaining. I call it Jerry Springer bullshit, you know, and it's funny how people get just completely obsessed in it, and it's just complete waste of time, you know.
Well, and that is the goal. That is the goal. Yeah. Keep us fighting, waste the time, and it'll eventually wear people down, and they need us weakened. And I can't believe people can't see through that. And that's the toughest part with all of this, is they can't see how it's trying to weaken people. And you know, once again, we talked about the greasing of the wheels, right? It's like all the alcohol, drugs, and everything else that people associate with you know, doing the internet stuff. It's supposed to run your grease out of the wheels. Well, we're getting loaded up on, dude. Anton, just don't drop him, dude. Just go drop him on somebody else, man. He's about to drop. I'm telling you, we're about to get dropped on in the chat, man. It's gonna be a wild ride there for a minute.
That's definitely pretty interesting whenever he does that.
Yeah. I just look at it like some of it's his way to say what's up, and if you don't say what's up back, he just keeps dropping more.
Yeah. Definitely knows how to get attention, huh?
Yeah, well, you know, it is kind of a gamer thing, but you know, it's just not my department.
Yeah. I told one of my kids the other day, I said, you know, the most valuable thing you have in life is time. And I don't care how rich you get, you can never buy it back. And, you know, people got to start thinking about that shit, man. It's like, what is your time worth? What are you doing with it? And where are you going to be at the end of it? You know what I mean? It's everybody's choice. Because I don't care how much you got, you ain't taking it with you whenever you go out.
Hey, speaking of waste of time, what did you gather today in Congress in that session? Because there was somebody else that's in the chat that was mirroring that, and I watched it for like 5 minutes, and I was just like, what is going on here? I couldn't take it. So you watched a little bit longer.
Yeah, I did the same thing. Whenever the African American gentleman broke down in tears about how he was having to go to personal counseling and that they needed more money for all of the pain and suffering that they're having to deal with, the mental anguish of everything they had to be endured, and it was just, I mean, just all staged and just, Jesus, man, it was like,
is that you?
I couldn't believe it.
Here we go.
Hello?
Definitely got invaded.
Jackson's over at 1819.
Oh,
who's here?
Kim.
Anton.
Hola, ¿qué tal, Kim?
Actually, what?
They're hearing you through my speaker, you guys.
Oh.
Help?
Well, how's it sound?
It sounds good.
Where are you broadcasting to, Kim? Are you on your own stream?
No.
We're having a party for her dad.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, jeez. Oh, man. Oh, Jesus, right.
Here we go. So, Kim, what was the consensus from that congressional hearing today? What was the boil down?
Aaron, at the end of that, I'm gonna have to go back tomorrow and show what happened because all those senators were crying and all that stuff. You should have seen them once the camera shut off.
Oh,
They
geez.
were laughing, high-fiving, acting like complete
Yep. Job well done.
all a joke.
The propaganda had been disseminated. Exactly how it was written.
Yep.
Plan well executed.
Scripts followed to a T.
Pepto-Bismol made out like a bandit. Their stock will skyrocket after the day after everybody in the back room doing shots of Pepto-Bismol before they come out in their little monkey suits.
Such a joke. I never. Oh, man.
Yeah, it is. It is.
It's crazy.
But on the brighter side of things, I don't really care if you're left or right leaning or what you are.
Right.
But the current administration is definitely digging themselves in a hole by sitting there playing all this snowflake stuff, because as the world turns for the reality on the outside of things, man, are we getting behind the 8 ball. And it's going to be interesting. It's going to be really interesting. So, but hey, did you guys see that they were opening up the gates at the border and letting people run through the other day or yesterday?
I did.
Wasn't that nice?
Yeah.
More.
Not a single woman or kid. It was all grown men.
Yeah, that's pretty telling.
Yeah. Yep. Well, you got to have that slave labor source.
I would still check the source.
Oh yeah, guaranteed. That was all done for the cameras. Absolutely. I mean, because on the other side of that coin, as people don't realize, is that's all been industrialized on the other side, and it's all run by the cartels, and you don't even get to that fence unless you paid. So it's all industrialized on the other side, and everybody being there is for a reason and paid for by somebody. So it's all a show in itself.
Kim and her wasted time stream. Ah, Jimmy, you just can't stop. Really? Why do you see that? Why was my stream a waste of time? I didn't say that when you were singing with Eric and putting my name in there in the songs. I didn't say that was a waste of time. Why would you say my stream is a waste of time? That's not nice.
Man, I don't know. I think Dank could even do better than that, man. Where's Dank at? Get this guy out of here.
I mean, Dank even came over today while I was playing it and was talking to us about it.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah, to people who pay attention to what's happening in the world.
I know, it's not many. I mean, come on. The drama gets the clicks and views.
For real.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm playing a stream that, in his opinion, is a waste of time.
Somebody's got to document it.
You know, I was talking to AVC, and speaking of, world, and I'm not one of those guys that turns on, the news anymore. I haven't had TV in probably 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing I've been kind of curious here lately is I've been paying attention to Australia. If you watch what's going on in Australia, man, that's really where they're rolling everything out that's coming this way.
Yeah,
and
doesn't look good, does it?
No, yeah, it's yeah, they plan on sticking the kids, and I mean, you know how it is, and I'll try and stay away from the key words, but I mean, all the way down, man, the whole passport ID things to who's got it. And, I mean, they're talking about not letting people fly if you can't go to work if you ain't got it.
Right.
It's stupid.
It's
stupid.
they have to force it because people will willingly do it.
Yeah, now they're organizing groups of civilians to monitor social media and to turn in people they know that are out protesting and whatnot like that. And that's, man, shit's getting deep.
I got a hold of the list, the criteria. So with that article came almost like a full pamphlet of 42 criteria that somebody that you might live with could be an extremist.
Wow.
Yeah, I heard you asking somebody these questions.
Might have been somebody else because I didn't get into it. I looked at it briefly, and I might have looked at a couple of them. But yeah, it's some serious stuff, and to have it so well organized and put out already.
Right.
There he is, Aaron. You're not paying attention to him.
Anton.
Jim Cornette. That's what that's the name I was trying to think of.
Oh yeah, he likes Jim Cornette. You know, I listen to a little bit of him. He's as far as religion, that's the problem. People get religion mixed up with with actually believing. There's a different. You're looking at the difference of spiritualism in conjunction with spiritual. That's the difference. Spiritualism versus spiritual. It's another ism.
Is this Anton
right?
That's doing this?
Yeah, at this point, I don't know, man. But yeah, he likes Jim Cornette. All right, Anton. See what I just look at it, dude. You're just putting this in the algorithms, and people want me shut down, and I don't know what you're doing, man.
Yeah, well, he likes all the drama channels, though, too. You know, he's rolling in on drama channels a lot. So, I don't know why, but
I usually tell him thank you, and he goes away. I mean, if you're mean to him and you try and block him and stop him and scream and melt down, he just keeps doing it. He's not a bad guy.
It's an interesting way to get attention, though.
Yeah.
You know?
He gets it, though, doesn't he?
or stop the flow of a good chat. You don't know.
Yeah.
Most people don't know how to shut it off, though. You know what I mean? So, but he definitely gets it.
Yep.
So
he gets mine.
The type of gamer. He's the type of gamer that's what he's doing is he's leaving his stream going live while he's at work. That way it's already fired up. When he gets off at work, he tears off his Superman uniform and gets right into his headphones.
That's right.
Spam and spam and spam, you know, and dude, there's
Anton.
I mean, goes from the work uniform into the next Superman uniform, bam, going in. And vitamin D is important, people. That's all I'm going to say. Get your vitamin D. All right.
D3. I'm taking the D3.
I'm liking my omega 3s fresh.
6,000 units a day.
Holy smokes.
Well, it drops. Plus, sometimes I forget to take it.
Anton, you dog. Everyone's talking about you and your spamming. He used to just come in and leave me a turtle at first. Before he got his spam bot. Where did you get that? At like Best Buy? Do you buy those at Best Buy or what? Goodness. Well, this was fun, at least for a little while there. We've been going for a while.
I kind of crashed your party.
That's all right. That's why there's a link out there.
I'm gonna go anyway. Have a good night.
All right, Kim. You have a good night.
See ya.
See ya, Kim.
Bye.
Hey, Aaron, I'm gonna try a headset real quick just to see if it'll work because my Yep, but I don't know. My mic is blown out in it, so I'm gonna punch in, and if you don't hear from me, I'm just gonna do a 1, 2, 3 sound
Right on.
check. So starting now. Sound.
No,
Hear me or no?
oh, I do now.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe it
All
takes a second for it to switch over.
Oh, you know what? Let me see if there's
Yeah, there might be a studio setting there for you.
yeah. I forgot all about the. Yeah, let me see if I can change the mic. Give me just a second. Nothing, huh?
Nothing.
Yeah, I got it. Mic's got to be dead. Audio is okay. Right now.
I didn't hear. Yeah, I didn't hear anything coming through.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to make sure because I messed with the echo cancellation too and stuff while I was there. And
Yeah, actually,
seeing if I can get something to change.
Go back to your last setting. I'm getting echo.
Okay. Sound check 1, 2, 3.
Yeah,
Check.
That got it.
Okay. That'll work. Well, that's a pretty neat little freaking deal, man. If it works a little bit better than StreamYard, that's kind of neat.
Yeah,
You know?
I just got to figure out my audio issues. I don't know what it is with this, and I just keep on. It just makes me kind of go back. It's some type of a tech that kind of blows out the audio or creates a filter if you start playing music or something, just because of copyright issues. So you don't play it, and people don't listen or watch. You know what I'm saying? And it's all messed up. It's so far like already advanced and toast at the same time.
Yeah, well, you know, it's all about control, man. That's, you know, they want everything controlled down to, I mean, everybody's house, and it's getting there rapidly. And
Yeah.
I'm really amazed at how people are just sitting back. I mean, and for the people who voted for the guy that's in the White House now, and to see a guy that's sitting there signing executive orders and not even know what he's signing, I just don't know how they can be even. I mean, and don't get me wrong, it's not like I'm some big Trump supporter, because I never was. Actually, I always hated the guy because I knew his history. But I always said that it takes a good businessman to run a country that's a business. And I won't say that he's a good businessman, but he was definitely better than what we had in a long time. And I think people are going to see some interesting results from what we have up in there now. And they don't realize what they're signing away, man. You know what I mean? And they're just sitting back, and the stuff that they're trying to slip in under these bills is just crazy, man. It's absolutely crazy. And I'm not a real big political type person, but I don't know how people, like, you know, in the circle that we run in, you can meet all these people that are so politically minded and blah blah blah, this and that. It's like, Jesus, save some of your time and go out there and do something that matters if you're going to fix it. So
yeah, or if you're going to be in the mindset that everything's pretty much done, you know, go out and live life.
Right. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely see the wrongs and the rights, and sticking in the positive side without, you know, numbskulls trying to drag you down. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Anyways,
you know, my daughter, and obviously I'm a man of faith, and my daughter is too, or a gal of faith, and she was asking me about Christianity the other day and kind of the future of, and I told her, I said, you know, I said, whatever happens, at least we have a house of God. You know what I mean? And that's the way it's going to be. And I really don't care what anybody else's take is on it. I find it interesting how everybody wants their right to not believe in it respected, but they don't want to respect the people's right to believe in it. And it's just an oxymoron to me. You know, it's kind of like my prime example of that 1A auditor, Furry Potato. You know, I kind of was a big supporter for a long time. I thought, hey, she's out there actually trying to do something, and I really didn't give a shit whether that was her choice or not. But whenever she decided to start macing people at churches and synagogues and making fun of people for going to church, and I'm like, well, wait a second. You know, the whole First Amendment thing is the right to, and you want your rights respected and beliefs respected, but you don't want to respect the rights and beliefs of these people. And it just doesn't make sense to me. So, not really sure what her end game was all about or what her plans are or was, but it sure doesn't make sense to me. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, and how to fix all that shit, I have no idea, brother. I'm just, you know what I mean? I have no idea, but, you know, whenever you see wrong, right is right and wrong is wrong.
You're up against a different natured type of cartel.
Right? Right.
Little bit different of a beast where you're at.
Yeah. So, and people today, man, it's just, like I said, it's interesting, especially on this whole gamut of YouTube that you and I have been involved in for so long, and that you get these people, you know, that come into your chat and will sit there for hours, dude, and bitch and piss and moan about everything that you are not doing. And it's like, well, you know what I mean? But it's like,
right.
Well, what are you doing? You know what I mean?
There's no recollection of, well, wait a minute. It might boil down to what I've already done.
And
I've done
right.
too much. And there's this thing called retirement. And some people get to do it.
Yeah, right.
Okay? Because you already done a lot.
Yeah, man.
Okay, so let's start breaking out the credentials and swapping, you know, notes here. Right?
Yeah. You know, speaking of credentials, there's this certain person that I guess we'll leave his name out of it, but I'm sure you'll figure out who I'm talking about. He started out in Florida. Now he's up in New York, and he has a friend that has pretty interesting opinions on the internet. And the other day he's over there preaching, you know, and I just kind of had to laugh because last month he was telling somebody he'd been on YouTube 5 years, blah, blah, blah. And then I was listening to him in another channel, and then he's saying, oh, I've been on YouTube 9 years. And and you know, it just keeps growing and growing and growing, and he's done this and he's done that. Well, he doesn't realize that. I guess he doesn't realize, because I sent him the link to his original channel that he's been locked out of, and he went back and started watching some of his own videos. And that channel was only 2017, and I'm like, man, I don't know how you do math, but you know, his first video was less than 3 years ago. Well, just over 3 years ago. And he acts like he's been on YouTube and he's just this guru, you know? And it's just, it amazes me, you know, especially doing what I do, how people's opinions and attitudes change from you'll get a channel that just has, you know, 50 subs, and you know, they're really humble and nice, and then you know, they reach 100 and they're like, ooh, they get you know, 500 and they're all thankful, shit like that. By the time they hit 1,000, 2,000, they hit this god complex, man. And it's like they act like they can walk on water.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and what it is, it's like you know, headquarters is like flipping toggle switches to let a little bit of the river come their way, and they think it's organic. Right. It's to actually sink them, so they does go to their head.
Yeah,
but
just like this dude that was in your channel earlier. You know,
they're gonna make their money off of them, and it's stupid, man.
Yeah. And like this guy that was in here earlier, if that's the way he thinks he's going to build his channel is by stirring shit between channels or fighting with another channel, he's just going to realize in 5 years that all that time he wasted it all.
Yeah.
And then what happens is what notoriously happens, you know, the dropout rate's extremely high. And you know what's really interesting is if you go searching on YouTube, if you go through and you shut off your YouTube recommendations and stuff like that, and you start getting just YouTube as a person that just got on it before you ever signed up for an account, you'll start getting all these old channels, and you'll notice YouTube will start feeding them to you. They're 10, 15-year-old channels that hasn't had a video posted in, you know, 5, 6 years. And it's obviously an abandoned channel, but you know what? Every single one of them have AdSense running on them. Yeah. And it's like, where's the AdSense going? Well, you know where it's going. You know what I mean? And that's what they do. They pump you full of shit. You leave YouTube, you drop your shit behind, you walk away, and you just left money in the bank making somebody else money because you bought into the whole bullshit and you weren't smart enough to realize what was going on.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to be part of any of that. I just wanted to hold my show, you know?
Yeah.
And there you go. But anyways.
Yeah. Well, you know, and then you also get some of the people like that's been around and they think, oh, because you ain't got 50,000 people, you're nobody. And it's amazing how much more pull somebody will have that just has a couple hundred subs to somebody that's got 50,000 subs that's got a whole lot of nothing for content. You know what I mean? And whenever you have substance, you have a lot more reach and a lot more pull, and you're actually touching more people and connecting to more people than that person that's just dumping out mindless content. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And so, but you got to get out of the box. You know what I mean? And this whole concept of people, you know, that all of a sudden they start thinking the whole monetization and shit like that, and they don't realize that, yeah, they might get 2 cents on an ad if they ever get an ad, but you got to have, you know, 100,000 views kind of deal, and blah blah blah, and they don't know how it works. And it's just comical to me to sit around and watch some of these folks go through this process. And like I said, whenever some channels are young, people will listen. And until you get these people that are paid or whatever that is they do to fuck with people.
Influencers.
Yeah,
the
influencers.
They piss me off, dude. Period.
Yeah, tell people a bunch of wrong disinformation, bullshit, blah blah blah, and you know, whenever I'm working with a channel and people start rolling that way, I don't even waste my time. It's like, hey, it's good working with you. Have a good day. Good luck. I'm out. You know what I mean? And it's interesting. But there are some people out there that are trying, you know what I mean? As much as you can try on a media that's controlled the way it's controlled. And there's a lot more set of controls coming, and people just don't get it. So, but I mean, that announcement that the White House made 7 days ago now on social media and shit, dude, I don't even know how people ain't even rioting about that, but you don't even hear anything about it, man. It's just complete censorship, man. I mean, and nobody's saying a word. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Only in America, I guess, huh?
Well, in America, we should be able to put the word out that there's censorship happening.
Yeah. Well, but you're not allowed to under the current administration. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
You're not allowed to say that. You know, it's fucking crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And I tried to tell people a long time ago is if you think you have a First Amendment right anymore in this country, whenever you have a current sitting president, I don't care if you like the guy or not, but whenever they could social media blackout that dude, if you can shut down a current sitting president, a single voice can be snuffed out in mere seconds. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, but everybody wants to sit and fight all day on YouTube.
It's exactly what they want.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Keeps the masses entertained. I think it's just, I just look at it as a gladiator, just a stupid gladiator ring. The Hunger Games, you know, the Hunger Games from the tube, from the predictive programming, it worked. It all moved over to the internet, you know, and you mix in some Lord of the Flies type crap. And it's brutal, right? You know?
Yeah. Well, it's going to be interesting for the people that think you're full of shit, and maybe I am full of shit, or even people like Autotron is full of shit. Whenever they wake up one day and see what's happening in their own backyard, because even the people that wore the stars for the Nazis got it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's pretty interesting. It's definitely going to be it's going to be a hallmark of our history. Yeah. Whether we make it or not.
If you could choose, if there's like, let's say, a reincarnation and you could choose or redo it over, like, what would your era be? Like mine, I'd be like, you know, I want to horse and buggy days, you know, be a cowboy out roaming the range, you know, maybe pulling in some beaver pelt with Jim Bridger. You know?
Absolutely too. But you know, if you had it to do over again, if you could get back in time like that, you could actually probably change some of the dynamics, and who knows?
Well,
maybe that's why the dynamics are changing. Maybe
have I ever told you like my theory on time travel and kind of what I looked into it on it? Ever tell you about that? Okay, so we can really only set time markers behind us, and that's why they're changing the time stamps and the way you see them on the internet. Even in videos, it's always changing the way you see a timestamp, and that's how you mess with the timeline. But being able to go back, see, we can set a point, we can set a time capsule right now and bury it in the backyard, right? And be able to come back to that. But going forward, okay, I think there's a strong possibility of being able to go forward because because of the lottery system.
Yeah.
I think they have the lottery system set up to help people that can go forward. Now, let's say like in illegality, right? Illegal, if they want to make something like that illegal in the eyes of whoever, right? You can't do that. So if the lottery system is set there to catch those people, then it's like, how far forward should we really be going to not jeopardize our personal safety in a sense, right? Because if you go too far forward, you're pissed. Get really pissed off. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, so setting your time capsule is important, and that's why I do kind of believe in social media and being able to set your time stamp. Your blog, you know, you're running a drone channel, that is you setting timestamps of your personal life. And I think that's important because I think we're all part of, you know, if you want to say like the Bible in a sense, I think we're all kind of rewriting either our own chapter or a new part of it. I don't know. But definitely you can see how they're trying to write history one way, in one narrative, in a sense, right?
Yeah.
Using people that are accepting plea deals to like you said, to narc off your freaking neighbor or your brother. You know what I'm saying? That is the worst. So to be able to go ahead a little bit and kind of let's say just set snares in a sense, right? And that's still trapping. It's just like you're going out and beaver pelting. You've got to go set a snare to be able to get your beaver pelt.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah. But anyways, it's just interesting to be able to talk about. I don't know whether it really exists. Have I been able to do it? No, I don't know if it takes a freaking telephone booth or some type of electromagnetic electron machine, you know, that x-rays you and you go particleize Star Trek style. I don't know.
Well,
but using cybernetics and the AI, okay, to be able to use the AI. Now, did you hear of the auditor in, well, he's kind of like a cop watcher, Sohai in Portland? You ever heard of Sohai?
I think I've heard the name, but I don't recognize it right off.
Quick background is he actually got some stalking charges from the chief of police for filming Chief Outlaw in Portland, and he beat him. And I think it went to that appellate court or something, and he took it all the way, and he beat that chief of police. And shortly thereafter, now she's in Philly Police Department. I remember her rank. They got a weird ranking system in that police department. But anyways, so Sohai figured out that with the AI, that you can activate the AI to track an assailant or an attacker or, okay, so it is conscious enough, you just have to know the code to unlock it, just like any other video game. Sitting there waiting. Pretty crazy stuff. So I mean, using the AI that has almost, you know, people are going to argue AI doesn't have consciousness, and well, I think the goal is to
they must.
So it's, you know, anyways, yeah, I can go, you know, a little more deeper on that, but
well, that's kind of how Google's search algorithm is ran, and they call them spiders, where if you know how to inject those spiders, that's how you can get pulled up to the top of the search list without having to pay to be pulled to the top of the search list or the found list, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And And that's really what Google's all about now. Is obviously they're definitely limiting what people are finding, but more so they're making sure people or things or places are found that are paying them to be found.
Yeah, every living organism's getting that barcode.
Yeah.
Yep, down to a living vaccination that's being put into you. Living organism. Nano.
Yeah. Incredible. They said, we don't believe there should be any DNA altering material in it. I'm like, wait a second. You guys are supposed to be the top dudes on it.
Oh my gosh.
You would think you would know absolute for sure. Choice of words is a pretty powerful thing, and that's why that's why I like Autotron, because he is good with that word verbiage, but he's a little bit too overboard sometimes to.
I feel his frustration because it's like you want people to move as a one unit in a sense, and there's just no unity, and it gets very frustrating to people that are passionate and adamant on their beliefs, and I kind of see where he's.
But I get it. I mean, I get it. But he also has to understand that everybody doesn't have the same fucking IQ, right? Right. And some people hearing it are hearing it for the very first time and trying to digest what he's saying.
Right.
And then whenever they're trying to digest it and they ask a stupid question, and my belief is the only stupid question is the question not asked. Well, Autotron doesn't believe in that. He believes that if you ask a question, you should fucking know the answer. And if you don't, you're a low-life piece of shit and I'm superior of you. And like I said, it's presentation, man. And I get his frustration, I do.
Yeah.
But if you can't communicate it, what's the sense of having it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And why even try? Why even try if you don't have the ability? You know what I mean? He's always talking about everybody else's inabilities. Well, that's his biggest problem, is his inability to communicate the word. You know what I mean? And he doesn't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't get it. And I wished he would, because like I said, and I like him. But he has a very valuable thing, but he just sucks at trying to tell people what it is.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because like I said, very first time I heard him talking about it, I had a little bit of an idea, but I never met anybody that, started dumping it out like that. And I like the way, I mean, if you have an IQ enough to follow some of what he's saying, you know what I mean? You can get there rather quickly, but not everybody's on that same IQ level, and he can't. Especially in the community that he's rolling in, brother. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep. Tough spot. Tough situation.
Yeah. Right. So
I just want to advocate for everyone to be able to convey their message without flipping out when there's adversity sitting there.
Right.
I got a video for us. 2 minutes, okay? 2 minutes long.
Fire it up.
Fauci.
People should not be walking around with masks. Let me just state for the record that masks are not theater. Wearing a mask might make people feel a little bit better, and masks are protective. But it's not providing the perfect protection that people think that it is.
There has not been any indication that putting a mask on and wearing a mask for a considerable period of time has any deleterious effects.
There are unintended consequences. People keep fiddling with the mask and they keep touching their face.
And can you get some schmutz sort of staying inside there?
Of course.
You do not need to wear a mask indoors if, in fact, you've been vaccinated. Good that you're vaccinated, but in a situation where you have people indoors, particularly crowded, you should wear a mask.
So even if you are vaccinated, you should wear a mask. If, in fact, you are vaccinated, fully vaccinated, you are protected, and you do not need to wear a mask outdoors or indoors. When the children go out into the community, You want them to continue to wear masks. You know, if you look at children outside, particularly when they're with the family, walking down the street, playing a game or what have you, don't have to wear a mask. The pediatric, the Academy of Pediatric actually makes that recommendation that children should be wearing masks from 2 years old onward. And you're asking now, if your child is a member of your household, can you walk outdoors with your child without a mask? According to that chart, the answer is yes.
But the child can't, not to beat it to death.
Yeah. Yes, yes.
Okay. Because now the CDC says, I mean, I think I've got this right. 1 mask is better than 0 masks. 2 masks is better than 1 mask. But you don't have to have double masks. Is that right? I mean,
you know, it became clear that cloth coverings that you didn't have to buy in a store, that you could make yourself, were adequate. And then you want it to fit better. So one of the ways you could do it, if you would like to, is put a cloth mask over, which actually here and here and here, where you could get leakage in, is much better contained.
are you a double masker, Dr. Fauci? It looked like you are.
Oh, goodness.
That's a good one, brother. I'd like to get a couple of pieces of that.
That just, I think that hit earlier today. Remember the guy, Minivan Jack, that I showed you before we went live, and you're like, that dude's spot on? Literally right after we stopped watching his video, he released another video, and he doesn't release that often. So I got, he just released another one. Very interesting timing there. Not even kidding. He doesn't really release that often. Maybe once every month and a half or so. But yeah, a couple of days. It's interesting. Some people might think he's a shill, but I don't know. He said he's spot on. Hey, is Yayo Mama? Oh, Shizzle just released. Let's see. Is Yayo Mama still in here? I want to play him that.
Last thing I got is Dark
I should have done it earlier. I wanted to play him the O.J. Simpson commercial that I found.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's got that gangsta lean. The swag.
Yeah, man. The swag.
He'll pop up. He's probably not in here. He's trolling like Anton everywhere.
Dude, dude, sling Autotron a link, man. Tell him get his ass over here, would you? Wait a second. Is he drinking again?
You know, I don't know.
Okay, because
if
he's drinking again, yeah, maybe. You know though. Tell him sometime. That dude that I met the other day, Nude Guru, I'd like for all 4 of us to get on a panel sometime and have a conversation. Because, I know you're not particular with people out of the country, but this guy is not talking about countries. And I know you ended up having to leave for some things, but you ought to hear what he has to say about nationalities and stuff.
Right.
And I think once you hear what he has to say about nationalities and countries, you get why I kind of like the guy. Because I kind of believe like him. I don't believe everybody has to plant a flag. You know, the way I look at it is we're all stuck on this rock together, man. And yeah, there's some people crawling in sand and some people crawling in snow, but it doesn't matter where you're at. The flag doesn't make you any different from the other person. And we're all on this rock together, and we're going to have to figure shit out. And it's not like I'm saying we ought to all be under like one little umbrella blanket government, because I definitely don't believe that. But the people need to start stepping up and taking back their power that they've given away to their governments. And it's we the people that have created and allowed this problem. And it's only we the people that are going to fix it. And so that's kind of why I like what I'm hearing this guy talk about, is because he's kind of along the same mindset of that. And I truly believe that it's people like you or I or whoever's listening, even some of the trolls that are listening, man. They're a lot of these people that troll, they troll because they're bored. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And And a lot of them that I've talked to along the way, the vast majority of them are very intelligent people. And I mean, very rarely do you get a stupid troll. You know what I mean? And then they stand out if they are. So it's up to us. You know what I mean? Whenever the ship goes down, all the rats are going to jump off. It doesn't matter if you're in a business suit or if you're in in mining gear. All the rats are going to jump off when the ship goes down, and it's only we the people that got to fix this problem. And until everybody starts coming together to terms with that, you're going to have to put away some different.
My only thing is, and I see what you're saying exactly. I mean, it is now it's become a world pandemic.
Yeah.
Right? And so there's many aspects why there's just so much outside influence to try to corrupt, cause conflict, the spirit of contention. And that's what I go into quite a bit. That spirit of contention is to make us fight. So, I mean, eventually we just turn into black goo, maybe. I don't know, right?
Yeah. Yeah, well, and like whenever what I was telling you before we got here is like a couple of channel owners that I was working with that are Wiccans, and practice and that and blah blah blah, and it's just always been a struggle to help them do their stuff that they are trying to do, right? And like I said, I always try and leave religion, politics, blah blah blah. This is just, I'm here to do a job for you. But it's like pouring oil and water together. And how long should I fight that? And I'm done fighting it. You know what I mean? I'm a man of faith. I ain't afraid to admit it. And I don't care if somebody listening to this is not, or don't believe in God, or, want to do the whole fairy tales, blah, 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 whatever you want to fucking talk about. I'm not some perfect Christian by any means, but I don't believe in the structure of like that structured organization church. The way I believe it is, and I've told Aaron this, is the way the good book says, where two or more are gathered in his name. And that's where church is. So I don't care that we may not talk politically correct or all that other stuff. Long as we're trying to do better for everybody else. And that's why I think some of these trolls, in recent years, some of the ones I've known that's actually stopped trolling, and they've actually formed their little groups, and they're starting to come out in the communities and stuff, and they're actually getting shit done. You know what I mean? They're people that are working on common goals, and maybe some of it might not be goals that I would agree with, but at least they're working together to try and do something better for everybody that they believe. You know what I mean? And that's why I say I think it's this whole pandemic thing is just exposed the weakness of the people on the rock. You know what I mean? It's obviously something could wipe us all out tomorrow. You know what I mean?
The vulnerability.
Yeah, but we all have a common problem.
They're robots.
Robots.
Yep. Robots. But anyways, enough of the soapbox. But you know what I mean? And that's why I say I think it's we the people that's got to freaking start figuring out, and until we can sit down and actually have decent conversations and put away some of our personal differences and say, okay, we don't agree on a whole lot of this other shit. Let's not talk about that. Let's talk about on the stuff that we agree on, that we're trying to get bettered for either ourselves or our grandkids or great grandkids or whatever it is you're in it for. You know what I mean? Or if you're just actually in it for an activist for the people.
Right.
And the time is now. And I know you didn't go through that Event 201 package that I sent you. That's a lot of information to digest. But if you go through that, they ran through that.
Like that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I sent it to you before that. 6 months before it ever hit American shores, dude.
Holy crap.
Yeah. And I gone through it. There's over 5 hours of videos alone in that.
Oh my God.
And they lay it all out, man. And I mean, they've paid some of the top mind people in the world to, and if you, I'm not saying that you got to have the biggest brain in the world. You don't have to be the dumbest person in the world either. You just have to be a person to look at some of it. And you may not understand it, but it shows you our vulnerabilities. And and at the end of the day, if shit goes to hell in a handbasket, you as well as I know, there ain't no bunker, there ain't no security detail, there ain't no amount of money that's going to protect those folks that's going to drown with the rest of us. You know what I mean? We're all going down on the ship together. And until people start,
Y2K kind of showed me the bigger magnitude of what is possible today with like the 201 and other things. And I'm not even kidding. Y2K, the shit that I got to see, holy balls, dude.
That could have went real bad. That could have went real bad. I mean, because you think about it, here you had some of the top minds in the world, and they never thought about what happens whenever everything turns over on the digits. Nobody thought about that until it's like, holy shit. You know what I mean? And it was just like, what, maybe a year and a half, 2 years prior that they started talking about it, and they were way behind the 8 ball. And so they weren't really sure what was going to happen.
To me,
now, whether
it seems as though it's one big timeline hack, and that's the residuals they kind of wanted to create, is a way to hack the timeline. And that's, dude, that is some bad stuff to be messing with. But we're seeing the results of that because, once again, the timestamps and the way they're messed with when we're publishing. See what I'm saying?
But here's my thing about timestamps, brother, is and I revert it back to whenever Hitler burned books or whenever the temple burned down. How easy is it to burn the books whenever you just control the master delete button?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When everything's digital.
Yeah.
What happened? You know what I mean?
The D-Wave in Silicon Valley is all about. Is
that
big power source to be able to control the timeline and the way things are perceived. And that's gnarly, dude. It's gnarly, man.
Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, obviously the timeline is not. I mean, they're going to have to adjust some things. I mean, they just found that big place over there in what was it, Syria or whatever, that the backfill in the mounds itself was placed in at 18,000 years ago, and that was just the material that they used to cover up the facilities. And so they haven't even really got to carbon dating and everything else. And I'm not going to argue with anybody about carbon dating. If you got a better fucking way, tell me. But, you know, I mean, it's the best thing is that we got right now. And so either way, carbon dating or not, there's plenty of evidence out there that the timeline is not all that it has led to been fed to a lot of us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean,
that's how you hide the truth.
Yeah. And there'll be people that will say, and especially about, you know, the anti-Christian people, they'll be the first ones to tell you that, you know, that's why they feed you Christianity, is to control you and this and that and blah, blah, blah. Well, the only thing I can tell you about Christianity, man, is until you have that point in your life, a connection, there is no way to explain it. There's no way to convince you of it. And if you don't ever go try and find it, that's your own deal. But I'm telling you what, man, it's real because I've seen it. And, you know what I mean? It's everybody else. It's choice, man. That's what it was always about. We can argue all day long about, okay, the 12 men at the tribe was just all sitting around making rules for everybody, blah, blah, blah. We go ahead and do that. I don't care. All I'm telling you is there is something else. You can argue it till you're blue in the face about what it is, but I know what it is. And now, how the timeline shit's going to work out, I have no idea, brother. I really don't. I really don't.
It's
going to be
give you a quick
interesting.
scenario. I'll just give you a quick scenario. Generations down the road or generation down the road, they'll be like, why did these guys fight the government? The government's great. I mean, you know, the Al Biden phones are up to date and up to speed. You know, Wi-Fi everywhere, even through the brain chip, right? The Neuralink
from space, man.
Great. You know,
space.
why would these guys ever
Starlink
fight the government?
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty crazy, dude. That's pretty crazy. I mean, you know what's funny, man, is, speaking of Wi-Fi and shit like that, and the other day I was talking to a guy in Britain, and we just had a brief thing on. I don't. Why he's like, what is such a big deal about 5G? And like, you know what, brother? I said, let's not argue about anything. I said, why don't you just do the research on what your heart fucking rate and the hertz that your body runs on? Why don't you just research your body hertz before you figure out anything else and worry about anything else?
Yeah.
Why don't you figure out why the earth puts out 8 to 10 ohms? And why don't you figure out why rubber shoes were invented? To detach you from that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Once you start figuring out your frequency, you'll understand what 5G is about. You know what I mean? So, but
about
you can't explain
131
it.
hertz is nominal.
Yeah.
From 131 to like it'll go down to like if people are sick, like terminally ill people get down to probably like, let's say 127, 125. Right.
Yeah.
And then up above 131 is your freaking hyperactive people that are just resonating, shooting out about 138 hertz.
Yeah.
And those guys are totally they're robots, dude. Not even kidding.
Yeah. And then boiling back down to the whole water thing, which we primarily are.
Yeah.
These people go dig into fucking what's in a bottle of water. Why is it all vitamin fortified and this and that and blah, blah, blah? Well, I tell you what, one of the most convincing things that made me wake up about bottled water is this was something I could relate to because I've grown plants. And if you have ever taken a plant that's been in potting soil for a very long time and you poured water in it, and you ever notice how the water pools up on it and it sits there for a while?
Oh, yeah.
Take a bottle of distilled water in that same exact plant that pulls up a normal puddle of water out of the ground or out of bottled water, and dump a bottle of distilled water on it and see what happens.
And see how it absorbs in. And it's the same thing with the structured water where it
instantly. And that's the difference. You can drink that bottled water all day long, but it's not doing anything for you.
It's not doing it
well. Contaminating you even more.
Studies have shown that you can power your house on the energy that you expound after drinking some of the bottled water for your body to process it. You can, power your house with the amount of energy it takes just to break down the water.
Right. Well, your trolls that's been following you for years, look at what happened to your videos that you had about water.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Stuff. I mean, you were freaking hammered over those. Gone.
Man. And all it took is one to hit like 15,000 views, and all of a sudden shit just, I mean.
Yeah.
But it was time. I knew what I needed to do at that time to either put it to the test, ruffle feathers, just by as much grounded DIY truth, and it was going up against Alex Jones and like the colloidal silver type stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they're charging out the buku for little droplets of colloidal silver, where I mean, you can make gallons of it for the amount of money you just spent for a little milliliter.
Yeah.
And it's bad, dude. And that's exactly other little conglomerates like that are hovering around, and they want to have the monopoly on it now. Kind of that Alex Jones is kind of busted up a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Right.
So those little conglomerates want to also sell CBD. They're interested in maybe the structured water, but it's not developed well enough yet to be able to actually do a good maximization on getting it out there in mass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
well,
have a
big
good product.
pharma's got such a lock on that shit. You know what I mean? They don't want it out there.
But it's the simple technology that somebody can get a hold of, like making the colloidal silver.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's almost as well. It's supposed to be better than antibiotics. Antibiotics only kills like 23 out of the 330 parasites and whatever we have, when colloidal silver is supposed to take care of all of them.
Yeah, right.
So it's like, to be able to make it yourself and not have to deal with a doctor in a sense until something serious really happens. That's exactly what they don't want. But what's interesting is they'll let something like that shake loose a little bit and start using it. But of course, they're going to be using it first, and then all of a sudden it comes out in the open. And it's what they're doing is with open heart surgery, they're actually using the colloidal, I think either a cream or something like that, for open heart surgery because of the freaking staph infection and the MRSA in the hospitals. So it's the only thing that's cutting the MRSA from, an elderly patient from getting MRSA.
Yeah, it's nuts. But there again, they don't want to let that out there because unfortunately you get families that get in power, that get money. And let's just talk like let's talk like a new money family. Let's not talk about any of the generational money like the Queen. Let's talk about the new money families like the Bushes or something like that. All of a sudden you get people that invented something, or shit, even YouTubers that making $4 million a month.
Oh my gosh, dude.
All of a sudden they're on a different, there's a YouTuber that my daughters used to watch 5-8 years ago that they just absolutely love this guy, just everything that he put out. And I just kept telling him, I said, but he's a grown man. I said, look at it. He's a grown man making kid material. I said, and what he's making is it's nothing. It's just keep your brain dead. And after he had his fight with Mayweather, a couple of days later, there was a guy that walked up. There's a guy that does a YouTube channel, and what he does is he finds people with nice cars, and he just walks up to him, stuffs a camera in his face, and says, "Excuse me, what do you do for a living?" He tells him, "Nice car. What do you do for a living?" And that's his YouTube channel, right? Well, he happened to get hold of this YouTuber that my kids watched, and we were watching this. And he has a couple of blonde bimbos on each side of him, blah, blah, blah. He's just hammered shit sitting in the middle of the car. And he leans forward and just cuts loose. And my daughter was floored with what she heard him say. And I said, that's exactly what I've been trying to tell you for years. They get this money. All of a sudden, they think they're better than somebody else. And like I've been telling her, I tell you, time is the most valuable thing we all have. And you can't take none of that money with you. Yeah, it alleviates problems and all this other stuff. Trust me, I know I needed it. But you know, it changes people, and all of a sudden they think that they're on a different plane, and so you get these people that are in this, you know, Jeff Bezos thing, you know, this 18-year-old kid that just went to space the other day, paid 20, what was it, $28 million for a seat.
I didn't know it was that much, dude.
Yeah, 28 million bucks for a 7-minute ride is what that kid paid. 18 years old.
Bungee jumping with $100 bill might have done the same effect.
Right? But it's all the notoriety, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
That's what it's all about. It's all look at me. And it's incredible, man. And so I mean, I get it, free enterprise is a good thing. But at the same time, I think trade and barter is something that maybe we ought to think about looking at it a little bit more, you know, and
that's why I'm going to go into beaver trapping.
Right. Right.
Beaver pelts.
Well, you know, they're starting to come back. That not too many people trap them anymore. I mean, that's where I'm at. The city shoots them, hundreds of them a year, just to keep the drains open, but nobody traps them. And I've often thought about running traps, but my kids would freak out if I started dragging home, you know, because the best beaver pelt in the world is a 1.5-year baby. You know, the second winter in is the best pelt, and you know, in midwinter, and my kids would flip out about that, man, because they always see all the babies and see how cute they are, blah blah blah. But you know, they don't see what the cops do to them, because up here they pay the cops to kill them, right? And so the cops just roll out there with a 22 or whatever and shoot them and leave them lay. And but yeah, so maybe you ought to be a beaver trapper. Muskrats, man, look at that kid over in Utah that's making his money on muskrats.
Isn't that amazing? Using the mink and the dogs.
Yeah. He started a thing all across the United States. Now there's big clubs in New York doing it and shit, because you know how New York and Chicago is just inundated with rats. Yeah, these farmers are paying him huge amounts of money to bring his freaking mink and his dogs out there to chase rats all day. You know,
maybe that's crazy. What we do is like release this little rat terrier AI thing to go through and tear up some trolls on the internet.
Well, you know, that's what I don't understand, because there's some of these trolls out there that, like I said, that hang around these little areas that you and I visit and stuff, and they are of the same mindset a lot of the time. They just are bored and like to screw with people. Why don't they? They're capable. You know what I mean? They're more than capable of building apps, and there's a lot of these guys out there that, like I said, some of the smartest people I've met. They can build apps. They can do all this shit. Why don't they do it?
Shizzle, what's up, dude? Shizzle's in the house.
Shizzle my nizzle.
That's a channel I should send you.
Yeah, you have to.
Debates him down, dude. He's like, what he does is he debates him down to kind of runs him down to where he's just like, show me the proof. Prove it.
Yeah.
It's awesome. His method's funny.
Yeah, everybody in their receipts nowadays. They always want receipts, but they ain't never got any of their own to show.
Oh, you know what was interesting is there was a little clash going on in Joni Rotten's a few days ago, where I was actually timed out in there, dude. And
really?
Oh yeah, yep. And it was invaded kind of by this side over here that I've been dealing with, and I pointed out how there's some integrating going on between the different pockets there, and quite interesting the way people kind of come out of the woodwork all of a sudden or end up there. Kind of interesting.
Well,
and I don't really want to be the one to label anybody, but you know, it seems as though they tried to get like the trolls almost tried to get Joni's channel into like a drama channel from trying to be semi-serious.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, you remember, I mean, I remember whenever Joni Rotten's almost had a couple hundred people in live stream whenever she just started launching. Her channel started getting big quick. And then all of a sudden she decided she wanted to start talking about real serious stuff. And all of a sudden she went down to 5 people. You know what I mean?
Crazy. Yeah. Well, you got to look at the timing too and the way people were popping up around that time. And
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I used to hang around Joni's quite a bit. And every once in a while, her time zone's a little bit different than mine. So I don't always catch her, but sometimes if I catch her, I'll just throw her on and I'll lurk and I'll listen. And sometimes she's got some interesting things, but some of the people in there I don't really care for.
What was interesting is from this side over here, some people ended up with page being D-ban. And I don't know if you've seen Betty around yet with D-ban and page B, the way they were kind of I don't know, just all interesting. The way it all kind of hovered around the same little crew kind of hover around Joni. But it's interesting how like that truther side, we talked about this, the truther side kind of clashed with the 1A side, and it was just totally muddy up the waters. This serious stuff. But what I do is I take that instance right there, that scenario, and apply it to the same with the trucker community. And they're really trying to divide that trucker community down, and it's to get people not to trust each other. So when the truckers are at the ports and they're being turned away and not allowed to pick up loads to take to either the grocery store or
they don't want them talking. They don't want them talking because they're getting ready to get broken up.
They don't, and they still talk. They do, but they want them. Yeah, they definitely want them to fight each other and not like be at the shipyard opening it up.
Yeah, well, because they know the truckers at this point is a vulnerability, because the truckers, just like in Europe on the yellow vests, they can bring a country to a standstill overnight. And they don't like a group of people having that kind of power, no different than the trade unions or anything else. So they're going to make sure they break them up and divide them. And that's why one of the very first, I mean, we can argue all day long whether they're efficient, whether they're not, but I can guarantee you the very first automated cars are going to be the trucks on the market, because they are going to replace those truckers so they can control it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And Elon Musk, and that's the only reason that idiot's around, is because he's pumping the Starlink up and he's getting ready to dump them trucks out, and they want that, you know. And so it makes sense to keep the truckers fighting, because, you know, all of a sudden they get on the same page and they say, hey, we ain't going to drive today. I mean, we've seen it just in recent history where they can shut a country down overnight, and they don't like a group of people having that kind of power.
Yeah.
And you think about it, you know, there's only about 340 million people in the United States. Well, I don't know how many of them are truckers. That breaks down to a pretty small demographic that can shut a country down overnight. You know,
that's just crazy, dude. I mean, okay, so the way I kind of parallel it with that is the January 6th insurrection, so forth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, to have the Oath Keepers head honcho there and Proud Boys head guy both be busted out as working for Alphabet Soup, that's serious. And it kind of is the same way for the truckers to kind of lead them astray. I mean, they've met up and actually stabbed each other, you know.
Yeah.
There's one case. I mean, they're still fighting back and forth on live streams. The same guy, and same guys, and they've already been in and out of jail for meeting up and stabbing each other. It's messed up.
Yeah.
But to lead astray is not, and we talked about this before we went live, the militia being not well regulated.
Yeah.
Like that. That's not right. So what do we do about that? What can you do about that? And
See, and that's why I said it's we the people that got to fix it. There's nobody else to fix it.
Yeah, to be able to vet somebody out of a militia group, or what do you do? You know, do you just start new groups, but then all of a sudden you're an extremist because one person believes in Q in that group,
right?
And there's your informant. So all of a sudden that whole group's on a watch list. But for a well-regulated militia to be able to guard or help assist in those trucks getting loads without impedance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Into our shipyards. The government says it's their shipyards, but wait a minute, man. Why is the role flipped here? Where did it really flip? Was it JFK? Where that boop? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we've been sold out since Eisenhower.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if for some reason, and I keep telling people, and I'll just kind of yield after this, been telling people we are fighting a battle that hasn't been able to be fought in thousands of years.
Yeah. Well, there's a reason that they ordered everything from, everybody thinks that whole, the operation, God darn it, I just had a brain fart. MK Ultra.
Yeah.
All they think that is mind control, blah, blah, blah. Well, if anybody has half a brain and you want to do a little research, go back and find out why they ordered all that shit burned. There was a reason I mean, you think about it, they ordered it burned. You know what I mean? Whenever your government's burning shit, your own government is burning files to keep from people knowing the truth. And they already gathered the information, right? They already know the outcome of it. And but all the test results along the way and shit that they all burnt. People ought to ask
Shizzle's going to be in the chat. Shizzle's going to be in the chat. Prove it. Prove your claim. He's funny, dude. I'll send you his channel link. You'll like him.
Yeah, I have to go check him out.
Yeah. Yeah, he just tries to stay mellow and lets other dudes blow up. And they're saying, this is happening and that's happening. Well, where's the proof, man?
Well, like the truckers, I mean, I don't, here's the thing about what happened with YouTube. The reason the whole 1,000 watch hours came down and 1,000 subs really had nothing to do with monetization. And they sold it on the fear factor that it could be an actual live shooter that could live stream a terroristic event, right? Well, that's not what it was about. The reason the controls came down in YouTube is they figured out YouTube was getting so much more views than like mainstream news and shit like that. And whenever the media squash order came on the Yellow Vest movement and they wanted to keep it contained, it got out through a little bitty tiny YouTube channel. And that's how everybody found out about it. A little bitty dude grabbed a camera and he started live streaming the Yellow Vest movement, and it got away from them. And they didn't think to control YouTube. They didn't think it had the media reach, right? And so it got away from them. And so they shortly thereafter implemented the rules, on this 1,000 watch hours, this and that. Now it's going to 4,000. Now it's going to be 10,000. And it's all about control, because you literally have like some of these auditors literally, there's some of these auditors that are getting more views on a video than companies like CNN and shit.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's pretty
And
amazing.
yeah, and
I
so
think some of that implementation of what you're talking about, the 1,000 subscribers, and the way that came about, I think it's more look at it as a false flag to bring that type of sanctions up. I think we're up against more false flags than actual organic events actually happen. Besides, maybe if you really want to go deep into it with the the rates, the death rates in big urban cities, you know what I'm saying?
well, people don't really want to talk about the statistics of what reality is, because the statistics prove all the the Black Lives Matter stuff, all this other shit. It proves it wrong. Now, I'm not saying that they aren't harassed in inner cities and not targeted. I'm not saying that. But the fact of the matter is they are one of the least fucking killed populations there is out there. And the facts are, the statistics are out there to prove it, but nobody wants to, they always want to bend those kind of like, sorry, Joe Cool, but you're the one that likes to get in it all the time. Joe Cool particularly, he will not talk about what those real facts are or the real statistics are, because they don't meet with. And I don't mind a group of people saying, hey, we're fucking being walked on, and I get it, because I've seen it, been there. And I'm not saying that they don't get walked on, but they don't get what they're saying they get. And it's like, let's just be truthful about what's really going on, because in today's society, it's like everybody has to embellish and try and just take this over the moon attitude to try and get the limelight. And then so it's kind of like the whole boy cried wolf theory. Well, you know what? I mean, if you cry wolf too many freaking times, pretty soon people quit listening, right? So why don't you just say what the facts are, go with it on its own merits, make the change that you're looking to make, and get it done without having to, just shit on everything else to try and get your point across. And I'm not saying like one group particularly, you know what I mean? But that's like everybody's mentality now. They try and do this over the moon approach to get their point out there, and it doesn't need to be. I mean, the facts and the statistics are out there. Just like this guy was saying, Operation Razorback or whatever in Australia. I mean, the facts are out there. Look at what happened whenever Australia did, whenever they did all the gun. Hang on. Whenever they kept everybody's guns, crime went through the roof. Everything else, I mean, it's facts, it's statistics, it's something that you can rely on. Just go on that, man. You don't have to make up a bunch of bullshit to get your point across, is what I'm trying to say.
That's kind of why my college stint didn't fulfill all the way, is because of the way they're teaching us to get the statistics and the raw data to further enslave us through the grants and the funding thereof, to get the raw data, to get the statistic, to turn around and make the law. You see the process. You know the process. But that I was like, wait a minute. You guys want 4 years of my life just to teach me that crap on how to make more laws and get the grant to come up with the raw data to get to formulate the statistic?
Now they're literally trying to bend the statistics.
Yeah. Well, and I go back. That's bending our timeline, bending our reality, bending our ability to thrive. They need people as victims in survival mode, because it's the fear base.
Create fear.
Create
fear. Yeah. And that's the thing, is whenever people start getting pretty shit, it's
messed up, hush sizzle.
just like they'll end up saying, oh, the truckers got too much power because they could shut off all the food to the supermarkets, and next thing you'll know, they'll villainize them or some bullshit. You know what I mean? So these poor schmucks will have to be wearing surveillance in their trucks. You know what I mean?
They are the threat because they can keep the stores open.
Right.
Keep the stores open. That's the threat. They come together as the backbone, like the veterans, and keep the shipping going and not let it stop.
Yeah.
Then,
well, I was kind of interested in what was going on, and I hadn't really paid attention to it the last couple of weeks. But whenever the people started burning the malls in Africa, and I had sent you a message and said, "Wow, man, something's going down," because it was 2 or 3 days after that happened. They burnt down a couple of huge malls in Dubai, which is a very weird place to start burning stuff. And I thought, wow, something's weird's going on. So, and now they're talking about shortages everywhere, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And it's not because of the lack of product. Hang on just a second, bud.
This is crazy. Oh, wait a minute. I was going to show you this. This is we were talking about earlier how kind of the trolling works. And this is a video that was released earlier. It's just pure freaking harassment. There's just disgusting shit they do to try to harass people into shutting up. And that's the witchcraft right there. That is all. I was just going to give you a sample of this. That's witchcraft. The way it's being presented, even though it's supposed to be funny, there's still some serious shit going on in there, and it's stupid. It's stupid shit. Yeah. That the creator of this video is actually the one that's advocating the most for streaming licenses. As a matter of fact, let me go to the end and I'll show you. So this is a 36-minute video that was released earlier. There you go. There's a streaming license advocate. And look at that right there. There's her little Google right in the corner. Her own little, sometimes she's got her own little name badge. Right there, isn't that kind of symbolic for you? There you go.
Yeah, and they're advocating for abusive live streamers.
Yep.
Who is this?
You say your name, you say her name, all of a sudden you're a little puppet on her little puppet show. Isn't that funny?
Oh, great. Oh, great.
Yeah.
Yeah, send it to me. Yeah, well, people that operate like that, sooner or later, you know how it all works out.
People love it. I mean, she puts out some funny shit, but when you look through it, it's to me it's demonic.
Well, they always eat their own.
People look at it as cute little puppets and cartoons and fluffy things. No.
Yeah. I've noticed that too. All the goat bullshit coming down the pike. It's the symbolism is there, and you can't. I mean, you have to be dumb to not see it. Now, there's a lot of unfortunately, kids don't quite know what they're looking at whenever they see stuff like that, and that's what really bothers me is whenever they're feeding this shit to kids. And my kids spend a lot of time on YouTube, and part of that's my own fault is because I used it as, whenever they were young, I used it as a training aid. There was a lot of educational material out there. Well, then they got off in their own little thing, and as to where I had parental controls installed on things, split home, so mom doesn't believe in that shit because she doesn't know how to do any of it. So the kids are just off drifting into whatever they run into. And you know it as well as I do. There's some people out there that I want other people's kids watching, let alone my kids watching. And unfortunately, YouTube seems to be okay with those kind of people. Seem to like them, as a matter of fact.
It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And even after we found the 5,000 subcontractors.
Yeah, right?
It still didn't there was a little bit of a flinch. That's about it.
Yeah, they'll shut down somebody like you or I for talking about water and health benefits, but they're not going to talk. But then mainstream media is wondering why all this shit's going wacko. Well, they're setting it up to be. You know what I mean? Raising kids without conscience.
Yep. Yeah. It's some serious stuff.
Yeah, man. It goes into a pretty deep stuff, man. So, but I don't know, man. It's definitely going to be interesting. All I can say is I think I haven't looked at the almanac in years. You know, the Farmer's Almanac, but I haven't never seen a summer that's been colder than this one in a very long time, and that's pretty interesting. And it's kind of coincidental since prices on things are going to double and triple within the next 12 months. You know what I mean? Everything from meat to corn to friggin' fuel. And I don't think people quite get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. There's so much influx right now. It's crazy. But yeah, we're getting tightened down.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So you're saying it's a colder summer for you where you're at.
Yeah.
And here in Arizona.
You guys had hotter.
Well, no, actually there was crazy flooding that happened in Flagstaff. There's been crazy flooding all over. Yeah.
Oh, once the monsoon hit?
Dude, it hit good, man. It hit hard. Which is amazing because we've been dry for a few years on our monsoons.
Yep.
But,
I was talking to Lady Di, and I told her I thought they were going to hit. So.
Yeah, I don't know what's really going on down south there. I know there has been a little bit of flooding in Tucson, but yeah, it's pretty serious stuff, dude. When it does happen, you know what I mean. But.
Yeah, well, you know how it happens. You know, it rains 100 miles away, and you know the gullies are dry, but you know you get water from 100 miles away, and so a lot of people don't really see what's. I mean, I don't know if you live there for a long time and you know what you're looking for, you kind of know what's going on. But whenever I heard what was going on in Texas, and then I heard it started happening in New Mexico, I knew Arizona was going to be next. So, and it wasn't like Texas had that crazy, 10 feet deep stuff like they've had in the past, but they had some pretty good water in the northern country. And I figured it was going to come that way. Seems to happen like that.
I don't know. It seems that we had like that 100-year flood, but sometimes that's just the beta test for the big round coming. You know,
did they are they still trying to make it outlawed so you can't collect rainwater down there?
I think you just have to get a permit. Once again,
get a permit. Yeah, because I was watching a dude who was building a remote house out in the middle of nowhere, and he was burying some some 10 and 20,000 barrel frickin' tanks or some shit like that to store water, and they were all over him.
Yeah.
And he hadn't even got the water yet.
Yep.
He was just prepping to gather the water. And he had a YouTube channel for a short time, and then he was gone.
That's just crazy, dude. That's so far out there, man. Yeah, regulation. And where do you draw the line with what's policy and procedure? You know?
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, remember the little old lady that got arrested back in, what was it, Michigan? For her little farm that was out, or her little plot of dirt that was in front of her house. She was growing a garden that wasn't licensed.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, like an 80-year-old lady, they freaking came and hemmed her up and locked her up over, I don't know, it wasn't like it was anything big. It was just like, 10, 15, 20 plants of some sort, just a little bitty tiny nothing.
Yeah.
And they locked her up because it was. And supposedly, this is what I laughed at. It was because the food is not deemed FDA safe. And I'm like thinking to myself, my God, what did people do before the FDA? You know what I mean?
what's amazing is the same state, they just came out with the governor actually, and I kind of knew there was something fishy with the governor getting kidnapped. And they came out that it's actually, you know, it was, once again, it was alphabet soup induced.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't hear about that one. Which state?
Michigan.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it was that. What was that? Like 6 months ago now, where they tried to kidnap the governor of Michigan. They said it was extremist, but I mean, it just smelled cheap suit to me, dude. Right off the bat, I'm not even kidding. And it just came out a couple of days ago. Cheap suit induced. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, not good. Not good, man. Why? I mean, was it a drill? And if it was, why are people going to jail over it? If it's a drill, why can't they just tell people, okay, we're gonna do a drill. No one's gonna get hurt. There might be some, dummies on the ground, showing that the people got hurt, but it's a drill. But see, the thing is, if they actually said that, no one would participate. It wouldn't become a drill then. You know what I'm saying? So it's
here's something to run by you. Since you're previously in the military, is not the military ultimately responsible for national security?
Yeah.
Okay, so is money a matter of national security?
Yeah, because or else the poppy fields wouldn't be so dang popular, right?
Right. Is food a matter of national security?
I would say it should be, yeah.
I would say that it is. And what I'm getting at is, I think people lose sight of who's really running the country.
Right.
And so that's why I say people can fight about Trump or Biden and all this other shit all day long, but they're fighting over the wrong thing, man.
Yep.
There's a lot bigger picture than they need to be paying attention to. And whenever you have agencies, newly founded agencies, that's buying literally billions of hollow point bullets and guillotines, and you can go to their fucking websites and they'll tell you how many people an hour they can freaking behead with a guillotine. How is it that the American people authorized that? Why would we authorize that? You know what I mean? And that's why I say it's we the people that let this happen. And it's we the people that have to stop it and correct it. And until people take personal responsibility in it, it's never going to correct itself, man. It's a runaway train. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Remember that movie when we were kids, Runaway Train?
Yeah. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, man. And and that's just it. Whenever you have departments of security that are now treating groups of people, ethnicities of people as enemies of the state, putting people under watch lists, it's out of control. What kind of citizen would agree to vote for that shit? I don't care if you're left or right. What kind of citizen would vote to let somebody have that kind of power over you? I don't think there's a one that would vote for that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because ultimately, like I said, you're on the sinking ship too. You know what I mean? Whenever the FEMA camps start stuffing, getting full, they're not going to ask you if you're a Democrat or Republican, or you know what I mean? It's all going to be based on your score. You know what I mean? Your social credit score that we already have in this country that we don't think we have. which Google's been developing on everybody for the last 15 years. That's what's going to dictate who goes to those camps. I mean, and what kind of person would vote for any of that shit?
I just cannot believe there's some asshole out there that would want to produce the guillotine and sell it to the government.
Dude, they were bought years ago. The first batch was 15 or 30,000 of them.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
half
where
of
are
them,
they coming
half of
from?
them went
China
to like
or what? Because they'd be the only ones that want to sell out that far to manufacture something like that. It's bullshit.
Half of them went to like Montana for distribution, and the other half went to somewhere near, God, it was somewhere near the East Coast. I can't remember where I heard the other ones went, but they literally, and then they're supposedly, this is what the whole deal was with the new death penalty. You know, you notice how all of a sudden lethal injection isn't killing people efficiently, this and that, blah, blah, blah. Well, beheading has come back up as a form of legal execution, and that's where they're going to roll into the guillotines, is they're going to start using it on the prisoners first.
Yeah. What I dug into is the actual organ harvesting, and that's the best method, and it's messed up.
Right? Yeah. Well, I mean, look at China's doing it. Like I said, they got all their blueprints from China, man. I mean, literally, you can order hearts, lungs, whatever you want, 2-week turnaround time. I think last time I seen, to get lungs, it was like $140 something thousand. To buy a new heart was like $180,000. You send your DNA shit to China, they send you 2 weeks later. You go over there, you get chopped on, you get your new organ. I mean, it's that simple. You know what I mean?
Did you ever look into the biological resource? Biological Resource Center in Phoenix when they got raided for trafficking, organs and so forth, and they were under the guise. Did you ever hear about that?
I heard that they had got raided, but I didn't hear anything else on that. So I didn't really know what happened.
They were actually selling, grandma to the DOD to be put in a Humvee to be blown up to see just what would happen.
That's right. It was some grandma too that came up in a DOD project.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right.
It's supposed to be medical science research, not
research.
Seeing what happens with projectiles.
Right? Crazy. Well, I've always thought that with everybody being poor in this country, man, why don't they just, if you got a kidney or something you want to sell, why don't they let a person sell it? It's yours.
Everything else is exploited.
Right? But they won't let the person who owns it exploit it themselves.
Well, and
they'll only do it if somebody else can take their money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, cutting into profits. Now, with their current administration and the one past too, it was like, are they trying to streamline and get rid of the middlemen that are sloppy like Epstein and streamline the freaking the whole process there of trafficking, or what's going on?
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it, is cut out the sloppy middlemen, and it's already all set up and established. So, cut out the middlemen. It's already streamlined.
Yeah, they're the liability.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what that was all about. Just they needed to get rid of all the middlemen because everything was established and rolling.
Yeah. That's the way I've looked at that for a few years. I'm like, wait a minute.
Huh. Yeah,
look at the way the truckers, because the trucking industry is the one that connects with the ships, and that's what we talked about in Hawaii. That problem there with the trafficking, right? So the ships meet with the trucks. And there you go. So you get self-driving trucks, then no reason to maybe open up the truck and have it be stopped by police and for an inspection.
Yeah.
Streamlined.
Yeah.
Messed up.
Well, ultimately, that's what a board of directors is for, right? They're not there for anybody but themselves and their investors. So, and I don't know, dude.
I just know the truckers, they have a plan, but it's the division that's going to keep them from really joining together, and that comes from the infiltration.
Sure. Well, I don't know. I think the definition of socialism or fascism or some sort of ism is anytime you put the corporation in bed with the state. And that's and that's where we're at now, is the corporations are making the laws. And the corporations are saying what they want done, and the government's doing what they want done. You know what I mean? Yeah. And either through kickbacks or you know what I mean? Which are now legal again, just like insider trading is legal for them again. So, whenever they decide money's going to change or a stock is going to tank, everybody gets the phone call the night before. They transfer a bunch of money, and then the next day the stock moves wherever they need it to move, and it's legal again. So, so they're not paying money directly across hands, but they're, hey, Senator, I got a good tip for you, and it's legal again. It's on the books. They can do that. And they made such a big stink about it being, but as soon as the cameras weren't looking anymore, they just reversed the decision and never said anything about it. It's crazy, dude.
I just know a bloated pig, man. Okay, so the way to keep...
Take it easy, Shizzle.
Yeah, Shizzle been out. The way to keep raccoons out of your garbage can is to put the box of cornflakes out there for them.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding. They come and they eat the box of cornflakes and it hurts their belly. It doesn't kill them. They almost explode, from the inside, but they're not going to come back to your garbage can.
Yeah, because it's no good. Yeah.
So it's like we do have, the stuffed pig here that is just so ready to burst. And the teeter-totter is, got the skinny little kid on one side and the big kid that likes his cake on the other. And it's like, who's going to get first here in a sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't think a bloated pig like what we've got going can sustain. It's not sustainable, and we're gonna see. I think we're just gonna see some serious shit. I think we're gonna see more weather than anything else, and that's if it's manipulated. That's your distraction. I mean, we got some serious flooding that happened here, dude, and it was a huge distraction. And another, right? It's like the flood happened, and then bam, Delta variant. There you go, right?
Well, I don't know what you've been paying attention to, but there's some working theories out there about the whole carbon tax and the whole global warming and this and that. Yeah. And the planet is actually at the end of its heat cycle, right?
Yeah.
And we're getting ready to go into the next ice age. And so the plan for the actual die-off is the mass starvation coming into the next ice age because the shortage of woods, food, and blah, blah, blah. So, that's some of the working theories out there. So that'd be something for you to dig into, because that's pretty interesting, because they're talking about losing lots of people in China. I mean, they obviously got lots of people to lose, so.
Yeah, I was looking into when they were trying to propose fart bags for the cows because of the emissions. That was a couple of years ago when that was starting to be proposed and talked about. We might need to start looking at the cows and trying the fart bags out on the cows.
Oh, God, yeah, right. It's just another way to put a meter on something, you know what I mean?
Right.
a meter on a cow's ass. That'd be a cool thing.
10
huh?
cents a toot, baby. It's gonna cost you. It's all freaking.
You'd be a rich man if you could invent that, huh?
It's all jacked into your Neuralink. Every toot costs you 10 cents towards your social credit score.
Crazy, brother.
Yeah.
Is that? I mean, it's stupid. I mean, and you know, like I said, 15 years ago, this shit was just kind of rhetoric, and just you would have laughed about it. And it's amazing how fast shit's moving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But
it
the
really
thing is, though, the thing is, once again, going back to our timeline, they need things sped up.
Yeah.
And that's why people are so desperate. They do feel like we're kind of at the end, but it's still, I think it's a mirage. There's still a lot of mirage going on out there to keep us from progressing or want to progress. In a sense.
And you know, and that's what I've always kind of believed about, like them, you know, with the whole weather manipulation, is they're trying to, like, especially with the countries of faith, trying to set up the illusion of end times, you know, the floods, the this, the that, the earthquakes, and fear sells. And I don't know whether it's just a fear sells campaign or if they have alternate ideas behind it. But there's a lot of people that's been running around with like a chicken with their head cut off. I mean, yeah, dude, I used to, whenever I was in my young 20s, I had this buddy of mine, and he listened to Alex Jones about 18 hours a day. He had one of those little Zenith transoceanic radios, so he'd bounce all across the coast, listen to this dude one after another, and I tell you what, I had never been around anything like that. You know what I mean? I mean, somebody that was that kind of doom and gloom. And I'll tell you what, whenever you listen to Alex Jones for 10 hours a day, every day, if you're not like that in your brain, it'll drive you nuts, man. I got to where I wanted to freaking kill this cat, dude. It was driving me crazy. I mean, you open your eyes in the morning and you heard Alex Jones out there just going nuts. Now, right. Art Bell, I could handle Art Bell because, you know, he wasn't screaming all the time.
Right.
But, I mean, I wanted to freaking kill this dude just because he was just listening to Alex Jones 24/7. I didn't even give a shit what Alex Jones was saying. It was just like, God, dude, how can you listen to that dude for 18 hours a day? I mean, listen to it while he was sleeping. I mean, it would be going on in his bedroom, man. And it's like,
yeah.
And the dude was always like, and you know the type. The world's going to end tomorrow. Buy all the bullets, blah, blah, blah. And he was just like that forever. And some people, that becomes a trap in itself. You know what I mean? And I always try and tell people that really get inundated with that train of thought, there's not a problem with being prepared. I believe everybody should be prepared. I live in a region where we have earthquakes, we have volcanoes, we have a lot of shit going. So I'm prepared, but I'm not sitting in my flak jacket with a fucking helmet on every night. You know what I mean? And some of these people are out there that are just over the top, man. And it's like, I think you got to have some balance in your life on everything. And so, you know, and I think you see a lot of that because, like, there's, you know, there was that movement, that preppers movement on YouTube kind of deal, and they're still around there and stuff. Not as prevalent now that, you know, Y2K thing is gone, and the next thing is kind of, the pandemic's not quite sure yet. But a lot of these people, it'll drive you freaking nuts. And they get trapped in their own little prison. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
I always try and tell people, just remember, he who lives in the bunker dies in the bunker. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I believe in light and mobile, because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you can't carry anything. I mean, look at what happened to the Great Depression and shit. People didn't give a fuck about what was in their house. They needed to feed their they needed to feed their kids, man, and they were out of there. Whatever they could fit in their little Model T or whatever, they were gone.
Yeah, or a 90-pound pack gets heavy real quick, man.
Yeah, right. You know, I mean, and a lot of these guys that sit around and buy up the bullets and stuff like that, and now that, you know, they have the rounds, you know, the powder manufacturers, the primer manufacturers are all mandated. They have corrosive agents in them, and a lot of people don't believe that shit. But it's like, go look. They are mandated to. They don't want rounds sitting on the shelf that'll last 100 years anymore. They don't want that.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yep.
Yeah, they don't want that. You know, I mean, whenever I was a kid, it was very common to be going out shooting, and half the shit in your bag was from the 40s or the 30s. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it shot just fine. You know, they don't want that stuff around.
Yeah, totally different grain. That's crazy, man.
Yeah. So but you know, and I imagine your guy, your shizzle, will say, "Oh no, yeah, that was bullshit." But it's a fact, dude. They are mandated by the Department of Homeland Security or whoever the fuck is running that shit now. The powder manufacturers and stuff, it has to be a degrading material, you know. And so, you know, the way I look at it is, don't just get hung up on holding onto a gun. I mean, any country you ever been in, whenever civil strife breaks out, what do you see, man? You see people out there chucking rocks, whatever, man. They're throwing whatever they can get. So you just got to be prepared to be mobile, be light, and do what you got to do to survive. I mean, if you don't have the means to have yourself a little compound set up somewhere, which I would say probably 98% of the people are not capable of that. You know what I mean? Or defending it. Yeah. You know? I mean, because, you know, there's a lot of very highly, highly trained people on this soil that if they want something, they don't need anything. They can just go door to door and get whatever they want. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I think people just need to be ready to be adaptive and to be open-minded to change and ideas. And some of these people get so closed-minded in such a tight loop that there's no escape for them. You know what I mean? They prepared so much that they literally, you know, trapped themselves.
Ran the grease out of the wheels again.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
another way to wear you down on keeping you busy on something that's actually making them money.
Oh yeah, making them lots of money.
Yep.
You know. Yeah. And so that's why I say I just wish people would start putting away some of these personal differences and concentrate on the thing that gives them the ability to be different, and that's the Constitution. That's what separates us out from the rest of the world. And
yeah,
you know, now that our Constitution is supposed to be a living Constitution, no, our founding fathers didn't frame it like that. You know what I mean? It wasn't supposed to be subject to interpretation and change. That was supposed to be the laws of the land. You know, and
yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, to me, living is keeping it alive. I didn't really look at the living as far as interpretation, the ability to interpret it. But,
yeah, that's what they're doing with it. That's literally what they're doing with it, and that's what I like about Autotron and his ability with language and word. And I wish he could express that to more people, because if more people understood the power in that word, and whenever you give the government the ability to change the meaning of that word, that's the real danger.
That's the book burning again.
Yeah, that's real fucking danger. And they have that ability. They changed it, man.
I've just seen so much as far as like first responder stuff to where people are coming together when there is crisis. And what we found here in Arizona, I think it was last summer when there was some flooding. There was a couple of toddlers that were washed away, and the community showed up to search at Lake Roosevelt like crazy. And
Wow.
the Stadies actually were turning people away, like, we don't want you here. And that's messed up, because I was actually talking to a friend of mine that was on that rescue party, not the team, the party that showed up to help. And she was pissed, because she's like, wait a minute, we pay you guys.
Absolutely.
So it's like, we're here to help to alleviate the resource on this.
Right.
And no, they turn people away. And that's not good. Once again, that's not allowing the militia to do its job.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just like, just boiling down to the police departments and stuff. They should have they should have a civilian oversight. Whenever they do their own internal investigation of themselves, it's bullshit. Okay, if you want to do that, that's fine, but there's going to be a civilian committee formed to see if they agree with your findings after they look at all the facts. And if you start showing fucking body cam footage that's all of a sudden altered, or all of a sudden not working, or blah blah blah, you know what I mean, like happens case and time and again, shit needs to change, man. And that's why I said, there's a lot of us people, and ultimately us people put those people in power to make our lives easier, not harder. And I don't know about you, but my life is definitely not easier because they are in power.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's why I say
more hoops to jump through, and that's just bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, like you're saying, now we're talking about, it's against the law to collect rainwater in states. It's against the law to make build a freaking farm. What? How did anybody? I don't care what your belief is in, like I said, left or right. How would you be okay with giving somebody the power to tell you can't grow a plant in your yard for food or not, or you can't collect rainwater?
Comes down to commercial again. Okay, are you collecting rainwater to sell it commercially? Are you growing food to sell it commercially?
Well, what does it matter? I mean, we're free enterprise anyways.
Well, the thing is, if you're looking at down to the bitter end, to where driver's license, the only time you need a license is when you're doing commerce or you're shipping commercial on the roadways. That's what it's supposed to be. We know that. Yeah, we've gone really far, but I just, what I do is I stick with it. Once shit hits the fan, people are going to come together. But just like we were watching Minivan Jack earlier, it's not going to be bombs in the city that's going to be bringing people together to start helping out.
Yeah,
it's the loss of food to reset the economy, the loss of shipping.
And that's what I don't want to see, man. I mean, I get it that, for a lack of a better term, I have to use their term, the collateral damage is going to happen. But I don't want to have to see it happen, because it shouldn't have to happen. Our country wasn't set up for that. Our country wasn't set up the way it was set up to implode the way it's imploding. It wasn't set up to let our government run away and turn us into the enemy because we think they ought to be doing their fucking job. You know what I mean? And because you think that they should be doing their job, all of a sudden you're labeled an extremist. Really?
Yeah.
Because I think you were hired to do a job, and you should do it efficiently and not be screwing off and going down and buying $800 freaking lunch dinners. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
$1,000 toilet seats and $500 screwdrivers. It's got to end.
Yeah, right. It's nuts, man. And until the people and unfortunately, like we see around this YouTube communities, you see these people running around fighting with each other.
Oh my gosh.
And until they start realizing whenever they sit down at night with their family that the shit that they put on their plate is costing them just as much as the person that they've been trolling all day, and it's going to be more expensive tomorrow.
Yeah.
And what did they do anything to help stop it? Because it's not because there's a lack of food. It's not because there's not a lack. I mean, we're literally dumping the shit in the ocean because we produce too much.
Oh, that's just
you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it is.
But because they want the profits to remain high, they dump the shit in the ocean so they can charge us more at the store. I mean, look at what they did with this pandemic about how many. I mean, dude, the other day, you know who that chick is that's been running around? Her name was Little Fungus. She's going by her real name. She's going by her real name now.
Oh, wow.
They were talking about the pigs that they were burning. And I'm like, pigs are burning? What?
Wow.
And she says, yeah. She says, yeah, pull it up on YouTube. And over in China and Asia and all these places, over the pandemic, I mean, dude, 1,000-acre plots that are dug up. I mean, and just pushing hundreds of thousands of animals into the pits.
Yep.
And killing them.
I know.
That was the hardest burying part. Them alive.
Yeah, when it comes down to the animals, that's the hardest part.
Yeah, and that's just to keep prices high.
Yeah.
That's to make prices high. That's instead of having a finalized product that we got to dump in the ocean, let's just make the farmer get rid of everything he's got. And that's what they did. You know? And like I said, it's a runaway economy all over, man. And you know, we're in real trouble, man. You know, we're in real trouble. You know, China's the #1 owner in our own country now. They own 5 out of the 7 of our biggest entry ports. I mean, they control major infrastructure in our country, just like that video you showed. The guy's 100% right. You know, wars are waged differently now, and I you know, death can come a whole lot easier with food shortage than it can dropping bombs.
Yep.
You know, and I don't want to see that shit. I mean, I don't even want to see that shit on my enemy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. 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 I was going to bring up to you, which I mean, kind of ties into all of this. The way some people, even on the 1A side, it's all over. I'm going to use Gen T for an example. Just popped into her stream for a minute, and she's sitting there talking about how they were able to run people off of YouTube. I mean, literally, you know, stoked about it. Oh, we were able to run them away, run them off. That type of gaslighting, almost somebody that's like special needs like that. I don't know if you know, but I tried to arrange like a mass call to the ADA. You know, American Disabilities Association. That, you know, special needs people are being used and gaslit to attack journalists. And it's literally they're putting them out there on the front to as the fodder to take the blow of. So it's like the people in the background aren't taking the blow; that are actually really doing it and getting these people so worked up to do that. It's amazing that people don't want to participate, even like in a mass call like that.
Yeah.
And that is the backbone of our country, is the way that we are able to move information, our communications. People that are knowledgeable enough, like with these live streams, to help keep them up and going, and figure out what you know, what's the next step, the cutting edge, because the interactiveness and the instantaneous and the interactiveness, like, you know, I think the last time we talked, I think we brought it up where James Freeman went to go pick up his devices, his phones from Leon Valley.
Yeah.
They're finally going to release them to him. Well, because he
What,
didn't
3 years
want
later?
2 years later. Did you
Yeah, 2
see
years
this?
later.
What happened? This is probably maybe 3 weeks ago now. He
No,
goes
I didn't.
there. This is amazing. He goes there, starts his live stream. He's like, I'm going to try to get my equipment back. Well, first of all, they wouldn't let him bring his camera in and be filming inside. You know that, right? That's been the big issue.
Yeah,
the
that was
police
what started
stations-
it all.
Right? The police station and the courthouse is tied into one. Convenient, huh? Cameras
Right.
aren't allowed into the courthouse. The courthouse is part of the police station, so yet therefore no cameras inside whatsoever. So
Yeah.
I mean, he raised a stink. So what he did is he comes out, they wouldn't let him in. I think there was a mask requirement too. Wouldn't let him in. He goes, okay, call him, guys. And within 5 minutes, that new chief of police comes flying out the door. Okay, what can we do to help you? Okay,
Really?
yeah. Said, let's get your equipment back and get you out of here. So he sends a deputy out, okay, because he wasn't going to come in. Sends a deputy out to check his ID, you know, to make sure everything was legit. It was him. Well, they're going to turn him away. Again, they were going to turn him away because his ID was expired. People start calling again. 5 minutes later, chief of police comes flying out. Let me see your ID. Okay, it's you. Get this guy his equipment. Get him out of here. People jump on the bandwagon for something like that, for him getting his phones,
Right.
but not call the ADA that special needs people are being used to help silence people. It's
Yeah.
amazing. And that's more the root of the problem than James Freeman getting his phones back.
Yeah. Let's see. But it's
cruel.
But again, it's that socialization, that kind of that hype, you know, like I said, the dopamine rush, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they need everybody tied in. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and so, you know, it's kind of like very, very few people were there through that whole process. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And but you know, do you know who GTAG UPOS is?
No, I haven't seen.
He's a black dude over in Texas, and he's just got a little bitty channel, and he used to be an auditor, but his difference is he showed every interaction, and so a lot of his streams, absolutely nothing happened, so nobody came. And this guy's been around for a very long time, so now you got a guy like Joe Cool that's out there yelling. You know, he started out by yelling, "Blow me, nigga," to the fucking cops, and all of a sudden he became the 1A community's only African American. Well, I hate to tell you this, dude, but there was a couple of them way before Joe Cool ever showed up, but they were just doing it. You know, they weren't doing the whole sensational bullshit, the Jerry Springer audit stuff.
Yep.
You know, and now Joe's not doing that. Yeah, it's Tom Zebra, absolutely. But you know, Tom Zebra started out. He didn't want to change the world. He just wanted to change his community, and just like what's going on in Leon Valley. Once James Freeman is gone, the next person that comes in there, they're going to treat them just the way they got treated before. Just like what happens with Tom Zebra. The cops only act good because Tom's around. That's how Laura Shark got started. Because whenever Tom wasn't around, Laura started picking up a camera and they were acting up. Tom come around, all of a sudden they got in line. And that's how Laura really got her roots is kind of hanging out with Tom. And so they just adapt. Okay, well, we know we're going to get blasted. This guy's got 150,000 people, or I don't know what James is up to, maybe 250 by now.
I think he's 300.
300. So they're just going to act good until James is gone, and then the next person that comes in. I did watch Batusai go in there a while back. Probably last year, he went in there, did the same thing with a camera, and they asked Batusai to leave, and they wanted to.
Batusai just taken into custody a few days ago or something?
I don't know. I don't watch any of that
or something. Yeah, there was something going on.
Oh,
I think
really?
it was just a book and release or something. But yeah, that was interesting. But I know what you're saying with all this, dude. Without that fourth branch of government actually being activated and well regulated,
right,
dude.
Yeah, those are dangerous words, man. They don't want to be having to be responsible to anybody, and that's why it's just like I was talking to a guy. I think, especially with today's abilities, every single officer in the United States who gets a job should be on a national registry. And if he gets fired, or if he resigns, and all of a sudden he shows up in your hometown and you say, oh wow, Officer Smith just joined, let's see who Officer Smith is. Well, Officer Smith just left Chicago and he had 14 freaking obsessive use of force charges. Well, maybe he shouldn't be in your town then. But they give these guys the ability to just be on vacation.
Yeah.
Just before the charges come down, to resign, and then they go somewhere else. And I think it's bullshit. I think there ought to be a national registry. Whenever you're a law enforcement officer, I don't give a shit if you're in the little bittiest town in America. You go on that national registry. You work for the people. Yeah, you may be in a state, but it wouldn't be hard for every state to report who all their working officers are.
Yeah,
keep a tracking log of what they do and what they're convicted of, or what
That's the Brady list that's been privatized instead of public. It's an interagency.
Oh, I did not know.
Yeah, it's the interagency list. They get to look at it, but we don't, which is bullshit. But it's there. It exists. Yeah, I think every write-up that you get should be staged in either classified, either a red, yellow, or
Yeah.
And it should be classified. It should be sitting there, but we should have access to it. Just like the jail roster. Same damn thing, man.
Yeah.
Jail roster needs to be readily available.
I really got to hand it to that one kid I really like. He's called Predator Poachers Massachusetts.
Yeah.
You heard of him?
Oh, yeah. I watched him.
One of the very first people he caught was a chief of police, a 30-year chief of police, picking up young kids off the internet.
The guy still got a slap on the wrist to retain his freaking pension.
Yeah, 5 years unsupervised probation.
Not on the registry.
Yeah, not on the registry. Allowed him to retire because the judge said it would induce a hardship to his wife and his children if he lost his pension. Well, his children were fucking grown and left the house.
Jeez.
And the way I see it, instead of the laws being half lax on these people that work for us, if you're convicted, it ought to be double of what a normal citizen should get. They shouldn't be exempt from the laws. If you're going to take the position of power, you should be upholding to at least that amount, if not double. And if you purposely go out there and break the laws, like this chief of police, picking up kids off the freaking internet, obviously after being a 30-year cop, he knew it was against the law. How many years had he been getting away with it? And a 5-year unsupervised probation? Come on, man. And that's why I keep saying, you know, the whole 1A community, they missed the boat a long time ago. They fucking shouldn't be trying to fight for something that's already there. They ought to be reinforcing what we got.
Right.
We ought to say we should have never walked out there with a camera and said, I have the right to film. You walk in and he had the right to film. Who fucking arrested him? Why did he get arrested? And you're going to fucking jail, motherfucker.
Right.
Period.
Something like that.
You know what I mean? Period. That's what should have happened. But nobody did that. More people picked up cameras and ran out there and stuffed cameras in people's faces, pissing people off at the post office. Now you got all these retards out there, you know, spouting 10 feet. I heard a Canadian spouting the 10-foot rule the other day.
Oh my gosh, dude.
And I just started laughing. I said, you're in Canada, right? He goes, yeah. I said, you are aware that 10-foot thing was a Supreme Court ruling, right? Yeah. And I said, do you know that it wasn't a ruling on distance? What do you mean? I said, it was ruled that was an acceptable distance in that place. I think it's, what is it? McCliff-Gunuff or something, or is the Supreme Court case.
No,
but now the Supreme Court is actually looking at taking a case where they're looking at a 30-foot rule. And so, yeah, so, and I keep telling these people, you guys went out there supposedly to make things better, and there's more laws getting enacted against you guys than there are laws that it should be coming on the books that saying an officer that breaks his oath. I mean, he obviously lost his qualified immunity. He ought to be going to prison for it. And there isn't no exception because he was a good cop for 5 years. You know what I mean? He broke his oath. He knew. You know what I mean? And that's where I differ from a lot of the people in the 1A community is they're, you know, and obviously you see it. There's a lot of these people out there just chasing the false arrest. I'm hoping to get $50,000 to $80,000 or doing what Pot's doing over there now.
Oh,
and
dude,
that idiot. You know,
dude, I mean, that's the best way to either tank or make your channel right there, grubbing for it. You're grubbing for it, dude.
Yeah, unreal.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't have much traction on his on his channel to begin with, but
yeah, he was horrible to begin with.
Yeah.
Did you hear he got his door booted, right?
Oh yeah, I got some of that. Oh yeah, I got.
Did you?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, I haven't got to see any of it. I heard from him. He came in on a channel that I was in the next day talking about it, and I had heard about it that day. You know, by midday, I had heard that the feds kicked in his door.
Dude, you're having a bad day when your door gets kicked in, and all of a sudden your Wi-Fi router is being. There you go.
Looking good while you're doing something is half the battle. Smell like clothes with a lot of style and a lot of flair.
Hart, Schaffner, and Marks makes the kind of clothes O.J. Simpson wears, and the kind of clothes Jack Nicklaus wears.
I go for the easy look. That's my kind of style. And I like the British double knits. So we put them all together in the Jack Nicklaus collection. That's my kind of clothes.
I bet you didn't know Hart, Schaffner, and Marks made clothes like that.
We make clothes for all kinds of swingers.
Swingers.
Swingers. Dude, I love O.J. Simpson. I tell everybody, O.J. Simpson is the #1 example I can think of that shows that money can buy you your freedom, because it doesn't matter whether he did it or not. He spent $11 million and he got out of it. Any other black man in that circumstances would have never seen a 3-week fucking trial. You know what I mean? It wouldn't even have been that long. And it just goes to show you that money, and that's why I say money shouldn't buy you a differentiation in our laws. You know what I mean? Our Constitution never said anything that, oh, because your net worth is this, that you're no longer subject to that. I mean, nowhere in the Constitution have I ever read that shit.
It's pretty bad, dude. I can't believe when Bill Cosby was let out, I actually had a troll come into one of my chat rooms and say, I bet you're glad he's out, huh, Cox? I'm like, are you freaking kidding me?
Wow.
You guys is horrible. Like, to try to keep that label pinned on somebody without substantial proof and evidence. Just again, today is this, bent hurt chick, man, in a freaking chat trying to call me a kid fiddler. Are you freaking kidding me? Really? Oh my gosh, it's disgusting, dude. These people.
Well,
are disgusting.
I made a video on somebody here a while back, and I sent you the video link whenever I very first made it. And it was two people you and I know hanging out with a guy who's a self-admitted pedophile and has been all over YouTube bragging about how he destroyed evidence and this and that to keep going for jail for it. And the two people you and I know, on his channel, he used to say that he doesn't endorse any pedophiles or rapists or blah, blah, blah. And I made a video showing, and here's what I didn't know whenever I made that video, brother. And the guy that you're committed, or that got linked to being hung around, he was in that chat in a troll account. And so it was him hanging out with the self-admitted pedophile dude with two guys who say they don't hang around with any pedophiles. And whenever I made that video, all of a sudden, boy, they cut the ties. And then 3 days later, they come out saying that I'm one.
Oh my gosh, of course, right? Yep, there you go.
And it's like, just, you ought to hear the lines that they're coming up with now. But you know what? Karma's a bitch, because turns out the dude has two cases that are sealed in Nevada where he lost his ability to carry a gun. And the word is that he had molested two young females on a casino floor one night. And that's why he lost his license to carry a gun in Nevada and moved to California. So now everybody's up his ass about these two sealed cases. and then what came out is, remember Morro Bay, or I called it Moron Bay years ago?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's whenever he very first started out.
Right.
And what a lot of people forgot about is he got tanked whenever he was around a bunch of auditors and started groping another dude's wife.
Oh.
And that was all on film.
Oh.
So now that's come back out to haunt him.
Oh my gosh.
So karma's a bitch. Dude. You know what I mean? Karma's a bitch. But so, I mean, I know the way these guys have fucking keep hung on to this bullshit with you. And it amazes me, your record's out there. You've been doxxed forever, and they still run around and talk about this shit. And there's not one shred of fucking evidence. You know what I mean? But they still say it.
If there was actually a record to dox, they would have done it a long freaking time ago.
Right.
A long time ago.
But I firmly believe in your case. It's because you're a man of faith. Your ideals about our government, your ideas about health and water and all that other shit that they don't like you talking about. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it's amazing. There's a lot of these idiots, a lot of these fucking trolls, and I'll tell you what, whenever you lay your head down and take your last breath, I hope you fucking think about it, bastard. You can't buy back time. I hope they fucking get what they deserve.
Yeah. Well, it's coming for something like that. Yeah. It's just about there, but it does seem as though karma is making the round.
It's making headways, brother. It's getting there. And I think you know, there's another guy that you know in that loop that has a very opinionated channel that he just lost his main channel and now he's building back up. He's got some real problems coming down the pike because it turns out he has sealed cases too.
Oh man.
Yeah, so you know, and it's kind of strange how the people who are on talking about kids all the time and then they point fingers at other people is like, remember, motherfucker, whenever you point one at somebody, there's three pointing back at you. So
that's just why coming. It looks more like a government operation than organic, and that's been my whole thing.
Yeah. Well, you know, the one guy in particular, what I don't understand is with his arrest on the border, why nothing happened with that. Now he can blame it on that attorney all he wants and his wife, but either way, in theory, he had a straight up case. You know what I mean? Right. They completely rolled his ass.
Yeah.
Why didn't nothing ever happen?
Yeah. No. Well, that was the threat. Is the bar association was going to take the license, and no, didn't happen.
No. Well, but you know, I told him, I said, okay, so you lost your attorney. I said, so you're good friends with Furry. I said, you know, Furry's got an attorney that's got a track record. Why don't you take your case to them?
Right.
There was never any explanation for that. And so I always wondered about that shit. It makes you wonder, you know, and like what, you know, whenever we started talking about the guys who drink on stream, as the guys that smoke dope on screen, to the guys who, you know what I mean? It's makes you wonder who's really on screen.
Yeah.
So but,
hey bro, it's I'm starting to fade quick here, man.
All right, brother.
I'll let you go. Yeah, good chatting.
It's good talking to you, man.
Yeah, we'll catch up. We'll do some link trading soon.
Yeah. I'm going to try and get a hold of this new guru dude, man, because I really like to bullshit a little bit, and I need some opinions and thoughts on that too, because I'm thinking about approaching the guy to work with him on his channel a little bit because I think he's got a pretty decent idea. I just need to find out what he plans to do with it, but you know, the same thing. And you know, if you run across Autotron, man, I'd like to bullshit with Autotron and just if he's in the mindset, but if he's back to drink, then shit, I don't even want to deal with it.
It's tough. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. But man, the guy's got a wealth of knowledge, man. I just hate to see it go to waste.
Yeah.
So, all right, man. Thanks for having
me on.
There's a lot
of talent out there to share the wealth and knowledge.
God, there is, brother. There is. And that's what I've been trying to tell people. I said, you know what, if you're tired of it, you ain't got to be on YouTube. Get 5 of your friends that you guys get together, do some research on your own, fucking write some papers and send out some letters and emails and get some shit done. I mean, it's amazing what a small group of people can get done.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just think of that 150,000 or 300,000 subs of his that called that day. Just think of all of those people fired off a letter to the governor.
Dude.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's to me. I mean, as much as I want to say, okay, yeah, the guy Freeman's legit. Still, it's not completely in the right direction.
Yeah. Well,
That's the
like
problem.
it's the money thing. It's every time that money thing gets in it, and now he's doing it for a living.
Yeah.
It started out for a cause, and it changed from a cause to a living, and that's what changed.
Yep.
He doesn't want it to come to an end because that's the way he's making his living. So I mean, I think everybody would want it to come to an end because, like I said, I think government should be there to make our lives easier, not harder. So, brother,
All
thanks
right,
for having me on.
few hardcores staying behind here with us. Thanks for checking it out and chilling. No one's hanging out. We'll do this again soon. Every once in a while, we've been trying to do this, get together and swap notes. That's what it's all about. Okay, everybody. I would play a couple videos, but I'll save them for the next time I come on. Had some pretty good couple videos lined up, but I am Dunsky.
All right, brother. You have a good night.
All right.
Take care.
Thanks for joining in, everybody. Peace out. We're out of here.